All right, all right, all right. All right, guys, go ahead and drop a variation of a yes. Give me some variation of a yes if you can hear me, if you can see me. And then with that being said, we will get into it shortly. Have some tea. Yes, yes, yippee. Yeah, si, senor. Yahoo. Someone said, Eman, today is my birthday. Please celebrate. Shout out to you. I'm so sorry. Your name's, I'm going to, Eyoop. Shout out to you, bro. Happy birthday. Everyone go wish him a happy birthday. Eyoop. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but everyone go drop a happy birthday to him. I hope you're having an amazing birthday, bro. All right, all right, all right. Beautiful. A great introduction made me cry. I love that. Guys, this is what happens when you show up on a live. It could be your birthday, and now all of a sudden you got 10,000 plus people wishing you a happy birthday. So, anyways, with all that being said, let's get into today's presentation. Today is a good one. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back. What I'm going to teach you today applies both to people who didn't watch. Well, actually, went sick. Let me go ahead and do that. There we go. So, as I was saying, what I'm going to teach you today applies both to people who didn't watch all the rest of the episodes as well as the ones who did. I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to starting a $373 a day business. The guide for you to finally start making thousands of dollars, just like a lot of people who join the Make Money Online Challenge are already doing. So you guys might be wondering, okay, people are going through this Make Money Online Challenge. Is anyone getting results? Well, I was looking at the earnings from people inside of Monetize on WAP, the real-time leaderboards that we have. And we have people who are already making money just with everything we have covered so far in the challenge. We have Joshua, who already made $21,817. We have Ryan, who already made $16,269. We have Nafi, who already made $4,727. We have Christian at $991. We have Juan at $506. We have Chuck at $192, and finally Max at $163 fucking dollars, which is incredible. So first things first, big props to all you guys who are already taking massive action on this and seeing the results of it. So let's go ahead and drop some love for those guys in the chat. Guys, just go ahead and drop like some heart emojis or go drop some love or some appreciation for all those guys, because yeah, you're killing it. You know, that's only a few days in, so just go ahead and show them some love. Hearts, W's in the chat. Hearts, love, massive action. Amazing. Yeah. Shout out to all those ladies and gents. All right. So with that being said, now my promise to you is with this challenge, my promise regarding this challenge was to get your digital product ready to start making sales by the end of the week. And as you can see, we have people who have already smashed that goal before we even finished the challenge. And my objective for today is to show you what you need to do in order to join them. If you are a beginner and just getting to know this online business world, well, this session is for you. If you're already knowing, if you already know about this world, maybe even tried getting into before with no success, well, then this session is for you. Or even if you're already a successful individual, whether that's in your own field or in the online business space, well, then this session is for you. Today, I'm going to give you the 3 keys to success in this new AI-driven non-expert economy that we are heading towards. So that way you can position yourself at the right place for this 5th wave of the digital world. And if you apply these keys to your own life, you too can create a $373 a day business that will take you from whatever situation you are in right now to what I call an ungovernable individual, someone who gets to take control of his life and dictate his own future. And I want to be clear. The 3 things that I'm going to share with you today work for people who already have expertise in a specific area, people who are already working a full-time job, who just want to supplement their income, as well as people who are looking for a career shift and people who are still in university and don't have any experience. People who are in their 20s and 30s looking to start an online business, or people who are in their 40s looking for a better way to pay their bills. People who don't currently possess any expertise or authority, as well as people who have never made a dollar online. Now, today, I have a very special announcement that's going to knock some people out of their seat. I am basically about to drop a bombshell that no one saw coming. However, this thing that I'll announce today will only be available until the end of today's session. So If you've been considering joining Monetize and you were just waiting for the right moment, or maybe you were not sure if it was the right decision for you or not, you will want to see this. But with that being said, I will go ahead and blue ball you a little bit. So all of that is in due time. And as usual, by the end of our session, we'll have a Q&A with my co-host Jason. And by the way, the only way for you to be a part of this special session is by being here live, because we actually cut that out as soon as the live session ends. Now, we covered a lot in this challenge already. With what we've seen so far, you have all the tools you need to create your own digital product 2.0 business at your disposal. Because if you've gotten to this point, you already understand the simple 3-step formula to make money with digital products, which is develop, distribute, and deliver. Okay, simple as that. In case you missed that or you don't remember, it's very simple. Nothing happens until something is bought. And for that, you need a product. In order to have a product, you need to develop one. That is our first step. Our second step is about forgetting the word sales, erasing it from our minds. Because having your product placed on the right shelves where thousands of predisposed buyers are at is much more powerful than that. It is the reason why you see cans of Coca-Cola on every single supermarket shelf, but never see them knocking at your door or calling you to sell cans, because they don't need to. They have distribution. And in our second step, we take advantage of online marketplaces to distribute our product to thousands of ideal customers. So that way, we don't have to do any selling. Finally, our third step is quite self-explanatory. If you have a product, it needs to be delivered. And the way we do that, the delivery of our digital product happens on autopilot, meaning you can sell 10 units or you can sell 10,000 units with virtually the same effort. With this, we have a business that is scalable. That is our 3-step digital product formula. Now, during this challenge, you'll also learn how we take advantage of the right AI tools to develop a product, even on topics that you know nothing about, by formatting it as what we call a non-expert digital product. Now, let me just address something very important right now. There's some people out there trying to have this whole, oh, gotcha moment, saying that the AI I've shown you in the last 2 episodes, synthesis, is just a prompt on ChatGPT and you can get it for free. Let me ask you a question. That's the same as saying, or let me address it this way. That's the same as saying that or that's the same as going to a McLaren dealership and telling them, oh, but this is just a car. I can, a Fiat is also a car. Well, yeah, sure. Both cars have wheels, doors, steering wheels, but are they the same thing? Or are they even similar? Or do they just use the same concepts, but with completely different levels of engineering, material quality, and technology? That's like telling someone who needs to shave that they just find anything that cuts. Hey, if you need to shave your face, well, you can use anything that cuts. Okay, so let's think of a few different things that cut here. Scissors. If you wanted to shave your face, would you shave with scissors? If you want to shave your face, would you use a kitchen knife? Would you shave your face with a kitchen knife? What about a chainsaw? I mean, a chainsaw cuts things. Would you use a chainsaw to your face? Guys, drop a no in the comments if you're starting to see how ridiculous these examples are. Trying to say, oh, just because something cuts, you can use any tool that cuts to shave your face. Like, are you guys starting to see how ridiculous that is? Drop a no in the comments if you see what I'm saying here. Now, listen, for every task, there are specific tools to do that job. Just because all of them cut doesn't mean you're going to replace your razor with a sharp kitchen knife because you already have some of these at home. No, of course, to get specialized outcomes, you need specialized tools. Just like if you had a heart problem, you probably don't want to have a knee surgeon taking care of your heart operation, even though both of them are still doctors. Yeah, sure, they're both still doctors, but they're specialized doctors, okay? So that is the reason why what we do here has such a high rate of success, okay? Specifically because of the specificity that this tool gets done. Okay, listen, after all, when your financial future is on the line, wouldn't you prefer to use tools specifically engineered for the exact outcome you want instead of settling for something that just happens to share a few surface level similarities? So today, you're going to go ahead and learn the 3 keys to put together all of our learning so far, so that way you can kick off your $373 a day business this week already. So go ahead and drop a yes in the chat if you are excited to dive in. And with that being said, I'm going to have another little sip of tea. I saw someone in the chat and they're like, what tea are you drinking? I'm drinking a mint tea with some honey. Now, listen, if you want to succeed in building a successful business in 2025, here's what you need to understand. We are heading into a completely different economy, a new non-expert AI-driven economy. What I mean by non-expert is that, you see, back in 2010s, for the first time ever, people who were not experts in their industries started making fortunes in those industries. Now, I'll give you an example. I had a client back in my agency days who sold glowing teddy bears, okay? Glow in the dark teddy bears. Now, were they an expert in glowing teddy bears? Hell no. They never even visited their factory. All they did was identify a demand and then find a product to solve it, because the value of that product is not related to how much they know about teddy bears. And now, this exact same trend is repeating with digital products, where people who don't have any expertise in their industry are earning millions selling non-expert digital products that don't depend on them being the face of the product. And if you want to have an idea of how much this industry is going to grow, just check out how much e-commerce grew in the last decade. Digital products basically follow the exact same trends with a few years of delay. However, this revolution is going to be exponentially bigger because of the AI element to it. And it's during these periods of massive change that the greatest opportunities arise. And the last time we saw change, this fundamental, was the internet revolution. So let me take you back to the early 2000s for a second. Think about what life was like before the internet. If you're driving into a place you don't know, you need a physical map. If you want to buy something, you either had a store selling what you wanted in your city, or you just simply couldn't have it. Okay. That was the situation we lived in. Let's say you wanted to share a photo. You need to get film developed and actually make copies manually. Let's say you needed information. You need to go to library. When was the last time you went to library to search for information? In 1995, the 5 largest companies in the world were General Electric, Exxon, AT&T, Coca-Cola, as well as NTT. Back then, Amazon was selling books. Netflix was mailing DVDs to people's homes. Google was operating out of a garage. Today, they answer 8.5 billion questions every single day. People started businesses from their garages. We now start them from our bedrooms. You know what was the total value of the top 5 companies back then? It was about $750 billion. Today, the top 5 are all tech companies, and these were all born from the internet revolution. We have Apple, we have Microsoft, we have Google, we have Amazon, and we have NVIDIA. Combined value, over 12 trillion. That is a 16x increase in wealth creation. And here's the kicker. The AI revolution is moving 10 times faster than the internet did. What took Amazon 7 years to achieve, AI companies are now doing in 7 months. ChatGPT reached 100 million users in 2 months. It took Facebook 4.5 years. Just look at NVIDIA, which is now one of the top companies in the world. Back in June 2023, it had a market cap of less than 400 billion, which didn't even put it on the top list of top 10 publicly traded companies. In 9 months, it went from 4 billion to 1 trillion. Then in the next 8 months, it doubled again to 2 trillion. And then in the next 3.5 months, it added a third trillion, getting it to 3 trillion by mid 2024. The speed at which things are changing is growing exponentially. The internet democratizes success. Before it, for you to be successful, there were really only 2 ways. Number one, the old classic path that we've all been told: go to university, get good grades, get a good job, climb the corporate ladder to a high paying job. Or number 2, try to go it on your own, start a business with no access to advertising, outsourcing overseas. You're essentially stuck with a small customer base in your city and the suppliers that you have, and that is it. Meaning, in both cases, it was very unlikely for regular people to make it big or break free from the system. Then the internet allowed this new generation of individuals in their 20s, 30s, and 40s to start their own business with global reach and scaling potential out of their bedrooms. The AI is now I should say, AI is accelerating this process by 10x, and you need to be aware of that. And by the way, I'm not saying that you're going to get replaced by AI overnight or anything like that. Okay, I'm not trying to paint some whole like doomsday situation, but there is also no guarantee that what you're doing today will still be relevant 4 to 5 years from now. And that's just the truth of it. One thing is a fact: just like with any big change, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And that's a good thing, because in our case, not only can we protect ourselves, but we can also take advantage of this big shift that is currently unfolding. We can position ourselves to be on the winning team right now. We are currently living through a time where opportunities are available and within reach for all of us because of the power of the internet. And that is why I believe that there's no better time to start an online business than right now in 2025. So if you've been thinking about it and considering the idea for a while, this is the time to stop thinking and start taking action, because the opportunity is right in front of you. And I am here to help you seize this opportunity. So if you want to position yourself on the winning team, what do you need to do today? Before I give you the answer, I want you to do something. I want you to think back to our homework on episode 1. Do you guys remember what it is? I asked you to note down your why. And by the way, I sincerely hope you did that, because we are coming up to our last 2 days of this event. And these are the championship rounds. By the way, if you guys remember, like, This was to be expected. It's always going to be like this, okay? On day one, you have the most amount of excited people. You have 55,000 people. Today at the moment of recording this, we have 15,000 people. That's normal, guys. That's like saying like, because with these live event days, you can compare it to like months in the year. That's like how many people show up to the gym on January 5th compared to show up to the gym on March 5th. Okay. Like majority of people drop off. So all that to say that right now are the championship rounds. Okay. This is the one that sets apart the contenders from the real champions. Okay. And this is when you're going to start to feel a bit tired. This is when you're going to start to feel maybe even a bit overwhelmed. You might even feel like quitting. And it's especially when that happens, that's even more important for you to keep taking action, because that is where the real champions are made. That is where the ungovernable individuals are created. And it's during these times when you might feel like leaving the session or leaving the challenge for later. And that is when you need to keep pushing through. And you need to remember why you're pushing through. It's in those times that I want you to think back to your why from episode 1, because that will give you the power and motivation to keep going and be successful on this challenge. Moreover, the reason why I'm saying all this is because I need your commitment to take action, especially if you don't feel ready to do it. Because in this life, you don't act when you feel ready, okay? That's not when you're going to experience the biggest breakthroughs of your career. That's what you truly need to understand. The people who understand that are the ones who have the best chances of success. And by the way, I'm not trying to say this to give you any sort of encouraging words or to inspire you. I say this because I see it happen in front of my eyes time and time again. I was just speaking right now to my head of product, Andres. Andres was my head of customer success for years. He worked with over 3,000 of our students one-on-one. And when he read this point, okay, as I was planning this whole presentation, as he was reading this point and I was talking about taking action before you feel ready, he told me the story about a student of his that he coached. So I'm actually going to, initially I was thinking about telling you the story, but I thought, you know what, rather than me telling you a story, let's do something even better than that. Let me actually just play the exact voice message that he sent me after we had that call where I was going everything, so you can hear from his own voice. Give me a sec, guys. I'm on WhatsApp.
Take action. Here you obviously talk about those who take action without actually feeling ready are the ones that succeed. I have like a good example of that. So I'll kind of keep this short, but when I started coaching, there was this guy from Australia. His name was AZ, and he jumped on with me and he was starting an agency. And what actually happened is he watched some of Iman's videos and then just got the concept of like outreach. And he started reaching out to a whole lot of companies and then reached out to one of the biggest construction companies in Australia and said, look, this is what I do. But he actually had no agency at all. He had nothing kind of behind him. And then this client basically said, well, I'm starting this new business, demolition business. I need a website and then I need someone to run ads for me afterwards. And he basically signed a deal on like a 12K website. And then I think it was a 6K retainer. I think it was AUD. But he basically signed this huge retainer. And then he wasn't a part of the program or anything like that. And then he bought an agency navigator at the time, jumped on with me. And I was like kind of going through my frame and he just stopped me. He was like, bro, I need your help. Like I just took blind action on this thing. And now I have this huge client in the pipeline, but I have nothing. I have no agency. I have absolutely nothing. And I need your help right now. And then we jumped on later in the day. I think it was like 3 a.m. this time. We got him a contractor. We sorted everything out. And then I think it was like 3 months later, he was making, over 30K a month. And he went all the way up to 50 eventually.
Insane. And the reason I want to play this as an example is really to depict this. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Isn't it true that every major breakthrough in your life came when you pushed through discomfort rather than waiting until you felt ready? They were, right? If you actually think back and you look at every single breakthrough that you experienced in your life. So when you look back 30 days from now, either with a successful digital product or with nothing to show for it, would you rather be the person who committed to uncomfortable action rather than one who decided to wait until they felt ready? Listen, I'm sure we all agree on that. So when the time comes, just know that this is the perfect moment to prove to yourself that you are truly ungovernable, someone who takes action regardless of how they feel. Drop a yes in the chat if you are excited to dive into it, okay? Drop a yes in the chat, and I'll have another swig of water this time. Beautiful. All right. So how do you take advantage of this new AI-driven economy? What do I actually have that you don't? Okay. I know that some of you guys might be wondering that. Like, what do I have that you don't that allows me to succeed in this industry while most people struggle to make a single dollar here? And I will tell you that in just a second. You see, for some people, they might look at someone like me got to the top of this industry and might think that I was blessed with an extremely high IQ, or that I had a rich family backing me up, or maybe that I just got lucky. Whatever you might think, the fact is that most people think that I have something that they don't inherently. All of those feelings come from the fact that you think that we are different, but quite frankly, we're not. I am you, you are me, and we are no different, except for the fact that for some of you, you might be the version of me from a few years ago. And the only difference from that old E-man, from the E-man that you see today, enjoying the spoils that come from being an ungovernable individual, the only thing that sets us apart is throughout my years in this industry, I acquired 3 keys to success that ultimately led me to where I am today. And the only thing stopping you from also becoming an ungovernable individual and achieving success in this new economy is having those very same keys in your life. And that is what I'm going to give you right now. The 3 keys to success in this new AI-driven economy. Now, what needs to be made clear here is this. This is an urgent matter, and here's why. Just like with any big breakthrough, there's a curve of adoption, okay? At first, it was very hard to get into this new economy. Think of a computer. When the first computers were launched, you need to know a lot about coding to interact with the computer's interface in its own language. And that was extremely hard to learn back then, okay? Now, over time, computers have become way more simpler to use, to the point that virtually anyone was capable of using a computer. And this is where we currently sit in this new AI-driven non-expert economy. Now, here is what you need to understand. The computer didn't stop evolving there. It kept evolving faster than ever. Today, you can do things with your computer that were unimaginable just a decade ago. Now, if someone who never touched a computer before were to try to learn how to do those things today, it would take them years to learn. And by the time they finally learned, the technology would have evolved so much further than it was from years ago when they started to learn, that at that point, it will already be outdated, to the point where they would never be able to catch up because they lost the optimal period of adoption. That small period in time right before the 2 curves cross. All period in time right before the 2 curves cross. And that is how easy it is to adopt a new technology. And the curve of how complex that technology actually gets over time is very important for you guys to remember. Okay. And the reason I keep repeating it is because there truly is an optimal period. Okay. There truly is an optimal period. And it's very important that you time things right. On the other hand, I'm sure you're already seeing your parents struggling with new technologies, even though they've been using them for the last decade. So imagine someone who has never used them. That's someone who's adopted that technology too late. And as the line on the chart shows, technology develops so quickly that they're just simply never going to be able to catch up. Think of surfing, okay? There's a moment when you see that wave forming. That is your window to start paddling. Now, if you catch it at the right time, you can ride that wave all the way to the shore, gaining more and more momentum. But if you wait too long, you only start paddling you only start paddling when you see everyone else paddling as well. Not only will you miss the wave entirely, but something way worse will happen, okay? By the time you start paddling, the wave is already breaking right on top of you. Instead of riding it to success, you get crushed by it, tumbled underwater, thrown around, struggling just to get back to the surface, while everyone who caught it early is smoothly riding to the shore. While that's happening, you're gasping for air, trying to recover. The combination of digital products and AI is exactly like this wave right now. We are at that critical moment where the wave is just forming. Now, here's the urgent part. The window is closing. Just like your parents struggling with smartphones despite having used computers for decades, those who do not jump into this now will be perpetually playing catch up. The technology curve is already accelerating. What takes you a weekend to learn today might take newcomers months to learn next year. And by the time they learn, we'll be onto something even more advanced. This is your moment to paddle, the sweet spot where you can still easily get in, but early enough to ride the full wave of opportunity ahead. So go ahead and drop a ready in the chat below if you are ready to learn the first key to success in this new economy. Beautiful. Listen, the first key is the right model. Because although AI is indeed revolutionizing the space and completely changing the internet landscape, AI is not going to make money on its own. You need to plug it into a money-making model. So that way you can leverage AI to actually make money. Because AI does not equal money out of the box. But AI plus the right model, that's where the money is. Think of AI like electricity. When electricity was first discovered, it was revolutionary. But electricity alone sitting in a power plant doesn't make anyone money. It's only when you connect it to the right appliances that it becomes valuable. You could have all the electricity in the world, but without a refrigerator to keep food fresh, without lights to illuminate houses, without machines to run factories, that electricity would all be worthless. The same is true for AI. It is an incredibly powerful force, but like electricity, it needs to be plugged into the right appliance, which means the right model to generate income. Some people are trying to use AI like someone trying to make money by just producing more electricity. But the real winners are those who understand that AI is the power source, not the end product. The key is finding business models that act like these early electrical appliances, models that take advantage of AI's power to solve real problems and create value. The refrigerator didn't compete with electricity, it utilized it. Just like the right business model doesn't compete with AI, it leverages it. So when you're looking for opportunities in this new AI landscape, don't ask, how can I make money with AI? Instead, ask, what business model can I connect AI to that will transform that power into actual value and revenue? Because the money in of itself, okay, sorry, I should say that because the money isn't in the AI itself, it's in the model that you connect it to. All right. AI, powerful. Digital products, powerful. You put them two together, it is a home run. Now, how do we define what is the right model? Well, there's really two criteria that we need to pay attention to here. The first one is quite self-explanatory. It needs to be a model that actually benefits from AI instead of getting replaced by it. You see, when electricity was first introduced, there were two types of businesses related to lighting. Type 1, candle makers who provided lights for homes and businesses. And type 2, electrical appliance manufacturers who built lamps and other devices that used electricity. The candle makers were directly replaced by electrical lighting. No matter how good their candles were, their entire business models became obsolete. But the appliance manufacturers, their businesses thrived because of electricity. The more homes that got electrified, the more their products were needed. When choosing your business model in the AI era, you want to be appliance manufacturers, not the candle makers. You want a model where AI makes you more valuable, not less. For example, if you're doing basic content writing, AI might replace you. But if you're someone who uses AI to analyze market trends and create strategic content frameworks, you become more valuable because of AI. The tool amplifies your capabilities rather than eliminating your role. The right model is one that grows stronger with AI, not weaker. Well, how do you check that? Simple. Just ask yourself, does the advancement of AI make my business more powerful, more efficient, and more profitable? Or are you constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if the next AI update will make you obsolete? Criteria 2, it needs to be replicable. Look, it doesn't matter if someone with years of experience in this industry can make a model work. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That does not mean that it's a good model. A good model is one that even beginners can replicate. Think of a business model like a recipe. There are two types of recipes in the world. Type 1 is the chef's special that requires years of culinary training, rare ingredients, perfect timing, and artistic flair. Only a handful of master chefs can recreate it successfully. Type 2 is a McDonald's Big Mac recipe, okay? It's so precisely documented and systematized that virtually anyone, regardless of cooking experience, can follow it and produce the exact same results every single time. When it comes to leveraging AI for business, you don't want the chef's special. You want the McDonald's recipe. Why? Because a truly proven model isn't about what's possible for the top 1% of talented individuals. It's about what's replicable for the masses. McDonald's didn't become a global empire because they had the world's best chefs. They succeeded because they created a system so simple and foolproof that any teenager could follow it and deliver consistent results. The same principle applies to AI-powered business models. If only tech geniuses or business veterans can make it work, it's not a real model, it's an exception. A genuinely proven model is one that can be broken down into steps so clear and straightforward that even someone with no special skills or background can implement it successfully. This is the difference between a model that creates a few success stories and one that creates a movement. You want the model that turns AI into a plug-and-play system where anyone who follows the steps gets predictable results, just like anyone who follows the Big Mac recipe gets a Big Mac. And that is why I personally consider digital products to be the perfect model to pair with AI. It is a simple 3-step process anyone can follow. Develop, distribute, and deliver. It doesn't get easier than that. And because it's so simple, AI can do all the steps for you. So even if you don't believe in your own capacity to do it, all you need to do is trust the software. The second opportunity you need is the second key you need, I should say, is opportunity, because most people understand what true opportunity means. Opportunity is not only knowing about something big that's about to happen. Opportunity means having the resources you need to take advantage of that situation or event. So my question to you now is this. You know about this huge opportunity that we're currently living through, digital products 2.0, the fifth wave of digital products, okay? You know about it, and you understand how AI is making this wave 10 times bigger than all of the ones that came before it. Now, Do you have all the resources you need to take advantage of this opportunity? And it's funny, whenever I ask that, I purposely use the word resources. Now, when I say that, when I ask you if you have the resources you need to take advantage of this, what's the one thing that comes to your mind? Drop it in the chat. What is the bottleneck in terms of resources you think about when I ask you this question? Money, money, money. Everyone says money. And I find that so hilarious because the fact is, 90% of the time, the resources you're lacking is not money, it is the right tools. That is actually what you need. Just think back to what we were talking about earlier with the internet revolution. We were talking about the ones who won with this revolution. Now, let's think about the ones who missed this opportunity. Who were they? Think of the biggest companies back then. Kodak, did they have money? Yeah, they had lots of it. They did $16 billion in sales by 1996. Did they manage to take advantage of this opportunity? No, they got wiped out of business. Why? They lacked the right tools to monetize digital photography. So the ones that did have those tools, even though they had considerably less money, they took their place. Another example, Blockbusters. Did they have money? Yeah, they had insane amounts, over 6,000 stores in the 2000s. Did they manage to take advantage of this opportunity? No, they lost to Netflix, even though barely anyone knows who Netflix was back then. So, as you can see, even in cases of companies that had all the money in the world, that didn't do anything for them, meaning the problem is not lack of money. In both of these examples, the problem was a lack of the right tools. Blockbusters lacked the tools to rent movies through the internet. Kodak lacked the tools to manufacture digital products and stuck with old film cameras instead. Even if you think of the most basic example, if you take a dentist who went through all the best universities in the world, got postgraduate masters, he has all of the qualifications, but he doesn't have a dentist chair. Okay, you have a situation where you have a dentist who went to all of these top universities, okay, in small cities that no one's even heard of, but without a dentist chair, he's not going to do anything. So let's take that example, and then let's take an example of a dentist who is even operating in a small city. Okay, he's operating in a small city, but he actually has a dentist chair. So like he doesn't have all the other crazy big advantages, but he has the tools. Okay, he has the tools. Who's going to win? Who's going to make more money? Of course, it's the one who has a chair, because all of this other crap is irrelevant. Who, what family you come from, what this, what that, but like all of this stuff gets wiped out and eradicated if you have the right tools. Okay, tools are the equalizer. You see, the fact is, it doesn't matter what you do or the size of the opportunity that you have in front of you. You are going to need the right tools to succeed. Even if you have a lemonade stand, by the way, you still need to have tools. You need to have a lemon squeezer. Everyone understands that if you want to succeed in life, you need the right tools. And most of the time, the best opportunities out there don't require you to have money to take advantage of them, but all of them require you to have the right tools. So the question you need to ask yourself is this: what tools am I missing to take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of me right now? Now, whatever model you decide to pick moving forward, there is something crucial that you should know. Even if you consider yourself too old to try something new, know that when you choose the right model, you are closer to success by starting from scratch in a completely new field than you are by stubbornly following the wrong path. And if you're younger, even better. Know that with the right model, you have the potential of achieving in just a few years what most people don't achieve in their entire lifetimes, as long as you have the third key, which is access. This is so overlooked, yet so damn important, okay? Because you can have the right model, even the right opportunity, but if you don't have access, you're still screwed. Now, access isn't just about knowing someone. It's about having the ability to reach, use, or even benefit from something that most people can't. And there are 3 types of access that allow you to do it: access to information, access to resources, and access to people. Let me break them down. Access to information. Question: why do you think people get rich? Okay, why do you think the rich get richer? It's not just because they have money. It's because they have something even more valuable. They have information. Okay, they know when a neighborhood is about to boom before the property prices skyrocket. They know which stocks are about to explode before the news hits the public. They know which business trends are emerging before they become mainstream. And this information is often dealt behind closed doors, okay? In the right rooms, the right country clubs, the right dinner tables. And you may think we live in a world where this information is available, okay? This information is more available than ever before, which is great. But this also causes problems because sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between genuine information, misinformation, and as well disinformation. Okay, sometimes it's hard to distinguish. Did you know that for every 1 degree an aircraft is off course, it ends up 1 mile off track per 60 miles flown? Meaning, if you miss your heading by just 3 degrees on a New York to Los Angeles flight, you don't land in LA. You land in Tijuana, Mexico. And that is what misinformation does. The more you act on it, the further you get from your goals. And sadly, it happens all the time. People on social media telling you what to do who have never done it themselves. Some are even weighing in with their own opinions on the content that we've shared over the last 3 days. Now, their intentions are good. They're genuinely trying to help you, but their information is just incorrect. Like people talking about what AI software is and what it does without even having used it, or the same people who made little to no money with digital products and have few or no people who they've ever actually helped do the same. Be wary of listening about money advice from people who are broke, okay? Even if they seem nice and they seem sincere. Now, you know what's even worse than misinformation? Disinformation. This is where people intentionally mislead you because either they don't like me, or more likely, to be honest, a lot of these people, they're actually fans behind the scenes. It's just the game is the game. It's for their own personal benefit. You know, they post things on socials with my name and images in the titles and thumbnails. They put everything we do here on this challenge under a microscope, and they intentionally misrepresent everything they can. And for what? Clicks, views, ad revenue. They have no name, so they trade on mine. And I hate to even bring this up, but I'm addressing this specifically because I see people being misled. Just so you know, whenever there's an angel on your shoulder telling you what to do, there's a devil on the other side that will appear as if they're trying to talk you out of it, and they appear that they're working in your best interest. So let me ask you, when your entire future trajectory can be thrown off course by a single degree of misinformation, doesn't it make sense to seriously consider the source? And wouldn't you agree that there are others out there who are trying to mislead you away from what we are doing here and try to get you to follow them in their own best interest? So it's real simple. We are building a house for you, brick by brick, to help you succeed, which is hard and it takes a lot of effort. And they are out there just trying to tear it all down, which is easy, but it doesn't help you. They react with their hot takes in a few minutes with their misinformation or their disinformation, while we spend months and years working hard to give you the right, genuine information, because access to that information gives you true power to finally change your life. Now, let's move on to the next level of access that you need, and that's access to the right people. Have you ever noticed that all successful individuals always seem to have access to the exact right people to take them there, especially the most successful ones? Warren Buffett had access to Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing. He is the one who gave him a framework that made him billions. Steve Jobs had access to Steve Wozniak. Basically, without Wozniak, Apple wouldn't even exist. Jobs had the vision, but he needed access to someone who could build the actual product. Mark Zuckerberg had access to Sean Parker, who connected him to the right investors and helped him avoid rookie mistakes that would have killed Facebook in its early days. Jeff Bezos had access to David Shaw, the hedge fund manager who introduced him to the internet's potential before most people had even heard of it. Elon Musk had access to Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia, which is what helped fund his companies that no traditional investors were willing to invest in. After all, the truth is simple. The individuals who have access to the best opportunities, the best knowledge, and the right people are way more likely to succeed than those who don't. And trying to play against them is a losing game because the odds are stacked against you. And this is why people who are connected or come from wealthy families are so much more likely to succeed in those same industries as their family, right? Listen, it's just the reality of it, okay? If you're just a regular person with no access to the right people and you want to open, let's say, a retail store, for example, you're going to have to find a vacant storefront on your own in a random part of town. You have to negotiate your own lease, handle your own marketing, and hope that foot traffic eventually discovers you. Now, if your uncle happens to own the most successful shopping mall in the country, and he not only gives you prime storefront space right by the main entrance, but he also puts your store name on the mall directory with a special star next to it, and he has mall staff directing shoppers specifically to your location, let's be real here. Who has more chance of achieving success? Obviously, it's number two. Now, this isn't just a slight advantage. It's like having a completely different rule book than everyone else in the game. And that's why I say that some people get to play life by their own rules. And that is what happens when you have access to the right people. The reality is life is not fair. The right model with limited access, you'll make some progress, but you're going to hit ceilings quickly. The right opportunities with limited access, you'll see it pass you by while others who capitalize on it. Okay. But with the right access, even an average model becomes profitable. Okay. This is what you truly need to understand. Even a small opportunity becomes life-changing, but because access doesn't just open doors, it builds entire highways to destinations that others simply can't reach. The bottom line is this: success is directly related to the level of access that you have. More access equals more success. And you can do two things about it, okay? You can complain that life is not fair and the game is rigged, or you can accept that's how things work in real life and jump to the winning side of the game. After all, do you want to be successful or do you want to keep complaining for the rest of your life? Access is the secret key to success in this new economy. So ask yourself, what information do you need access to? What resources do you need access to? What people do you need access to? The ones who possess these keys are the ones who will build fortunes, while others are still trying to figure out what the hell AI even is. The model matters, the opportunity matters, but without access, you're still on the outside looking in. With it, there are no limits to what it is that you can achieve. Now, the question becomes, how do you get access? The truth is, there's only one answer. You need to pay for access, either with time or money. And paying with time, almost every single instance turns out to be more expensive. Paying for access with money always costs less than paying with time, because time is the one resource you can never get back. Money can be replaced. Time cannot. It would take you years, if not decades, for you to organically build a network that allows you to get access to very high level individuals. On the other hand, you can literally just pay your way to instant access. And most of the time, paying for that access is way cheaper than most people realize. It goes back to our point of knowing how to use your resources. Money is a resource, and smart people know how to use it to their advantage. So today, I want to give you the same level of access that I and very few other people have, even if you are starting from scratch. And with this, you're going to have the right model to take advantage of the best opportunity, because you have access to the right people, tools, and resources. Now, I want to give you the privilege to be one of the first to join the fifth wave by combining AI with digital products. If you ever wanted to be early for something big, this might be your opportunity, because I'm about to present potentially the greatest risk-free offer in history. You now have two choices and one decision to make. You have enough information to do this on your own. Not all the information, so you will still have to figure out a bunch of things on your own, but you have enough to walk the path yourself. Your second option is, instead of walking the path, you can take a jet. And right now, I am extending to you the opportunity to jump into my private jet, so that way you can get to your dream destination faster, safer, and with more impact. Because the truth is, getting there by jet is the most predictable way to go from where you are right now to where you want to be. And it's with great pleasure that I open the doors to my sorry, I should say that with great pleasure that I open the doors to this special opportunity to cash in on Digital Products 2.0. So if you're ready to join me on this jet and fly to your destination, to your turning point, you have one last chance to join me inside of Monetize. You will get access to the right model. That is digital product formula. Imagine if you could have me walking you through the entire creation of digital products from zero in practice, and showing you all the small details that you need to pay attention to in each one of these three steps: develop, distribute, and deliver. This is exactly what this program shows you how to do. It breaks the process down into three pillars. Pillar one is develop. Here, you're going to discover how to use AI to identify profitable product opportunities that aren't saturated with competition, and get your entire product built for you in a matter of clicks. This way, you won't need any previous expertise to win big with your first digital product. Pillar two is distribute. Here, you're going to discover how to position your product in the exact places where people are already looking to buy digital products just like yours. So that way, you can get your digital product in front of tens of thousands of qualified buyers without having to become some sort of social media influencer or burn through your savings on ad spend. Pillar three is delivery. Here, you discover how to set up your delivery systems, so that way your digital product basically runs itself. And this is what allows you to actually enjoy the income from your digital product instead of becoming a slave to it. And that is when you can truly create a product once and sell it 10,000 times. Wouldn't it be great to have all the best technology working for you on your behalf without you even knowing how it works? Congratulations, you now have that. This way, all you need to do is follow along and click the same buttons I'm clicking on your end. Are you capable of following my instructions along and just clicking the buttons I show you in the classes? Are you? Can you do that? Well, then great. If you are capable of achieving that, then you are capable of achieving success with this. Because at that point, success stops becoming about figuring out and simply becomes a matter of implementation. And that is exactly where you're going to get inside of digital product formula. Just by following these simple instructions, we already have people inside Monetize just in the space of a couple of days making money from this process, okay? Just in a few days. So imagine what could be done in a few months. And now I want to give you key two, which is the opportunity. However, this key is not only about the opportunity itself, because what good is recognizing the massive potential of digital products 2.0 if you don't have the resources to actually capitalize on it? I mean, at this point, you already understand that digital products 2.0 are the biggest, most wide open AI opportunity that no one is talking about yet. But does it really matter knowing that digital products are the thing to do if you can't create a digital product yourself? Does it really matter knowing that you need distribution if you can't get distribution yourself? And even if you have a digital product developed and distribution secured, is it really going to do anything? Or is it really going to do anything for you if you can't deliver your product? Can you see how having knowledge without implementation is like seeing a gold mine, but having no equipment to actually excavate, no equipment to actually extract that gold? The truth is, the real difference between those who will profit from the fifth wave and those who will miss out entirely is simply a matter of who has access to the complete system rather than just pieces of the puzzle. Now, to your benefit, with this new software I've been developing, we've just made creating an online income realistic for anyone, because with this, we're not just going to give you the right model, but also all the resources you need to take full advantage of this opportunity. With it, all of the traditional barriers people used to have to deal with are now gone. And with AI, it takes just a fraction of the time and effort to make this work. Because what used to be the hardest part of this process is now the easiest: developing your product, getting distribution, and automating your delivery. So I can confidently say that creating your first digital product has never been easier inside of Monetize, because you don't even need to trust yourself to take advantage of this opportunity. You just need to trust the software. The software does it all for you. And here is how it will do it for you. Historically, the barrier to entry in this industry was on the very first step, actually developing the product itself. So what if you could actually outsource the most difficult part of this business to AI and just let it do the work for you? So that way, what used to be the hardest part now becomes the easiest. Well, that is what Synthesis AI does for you. Do you remember earlier when I talked about the huge difference between generic AI and specialized AI, and how comparing generic AI to specialized AI is trying to tell people at the McLaren dealership that their cars are just like Fiat? Oh, I got you. Well, yours is a car too. Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but it's not specialized. Now, here's why this is super important, okay? People don't understand. This is why this is so important. Later on, I'm going to be giving you premium placement in the Walt marketplace right here. Do you know, okay? Do you know that when you go to a fancy hotel, for example, you go to these fancy hotels in Monaco or Dubai, they line up all of the cars in front. Do they park Fiats there? Okay. Do they park Toyotas in the front? No, they only allow the best supercars to park in the premium spots. Okay. So do you really think I'm going to allow some Toyota to park at the most premium placement of a company that I'm a co-owner in? Hell no. And that's exactly why we developed Synthesize, to guarantee that your digital products are like McLaren's, parked front and center in the most premium location, not Toyotas or Fiats that will struggle to stand out amongst the competition. At this point, you're already familiar with what Synthesize can do. It develops the entire product for you, the core content, all the necessary tools, even the scripts for your product videos. This AI is trained on all the data of over $1 billion in digital product sales through WAP. And most importantly, Synthesis AI is specifically designed to help you create products that don't require you to be an expert. And to prove that Synthesis AI actually works, I created an entire program with it myself, okay? So I got Synthesized to create an entire program. It's called Millionaire Mindset. I made it a point to not change a single thing on the script just to be able to say this. And by the way, I also purposely made a huge mistake in the framing of this product just to prove a point. I sold a mindset course, which is a terrible framing, positioned not even in the second layer, but in the first layer, as we covered in episode 2. And you already understand why positioning your product in the first layer is a huge no-go. And still, I made over $370,000 from it in the last 30 days. Over 13,000 people joined it at this point. Let me make that clear. That is 90 minutes of work to make more than most people make in a year. So anyone who bought Millionaire Mindset, you are a literal proof of concept that Synthesize works. What other tool in this market has created a product from zero and sold over $370,000 worth of units in less than 30 days? Simply none. Do you see now why people are willing to pay $2,999 a year to access this tool alone? And by the way, that program we created with Synthesis AI, that was the alpha version, okay? And that was released back in January. It was literally the first program it ever created. Was it the best program? No, I'll be honest. It was okay. Today, though, you couldn't tell apart a program created by Synthesize or a PhD in that area. The level of programs it is creating right now, it doesn't even come close. And you are getting unlimited access to it at no extra cost to you as a part of your monetized membership. How much simpler would this process be if you had access to the same tool that's been validated with over 13,000 sales from a single digital product in the last 30 days? And that is what it means to have access to the right resources. That is how you position yourself with the right model to seize these opportunities. Bonus 4 is Ghostwriter OS. Now, I want you to imagine that you've created the most delicious ice cream in the world, but you've set up your ice cream shop in the middle of the Sahara Desert. No matter how perfect your ice cream is, you will never sell a single scoop. Meanwhile, a vendor selling average ice cream from a cart in a busy amusement park on a hot summer's day, well, they just can't keep up with demand. This is exactly what it's like having a great digital product but no distribution. The quality of your product matters, and it matters a lot, but it only matters when people see your product. And without distribution, no one sees it. And that is the exact problem that Ghostwriter solves. If you don't remember, originally, I wasn't even going to reveal this publicly, okay? I wanted to keep this secret because the only way to truly see the real power of this tool is to use it in practice. There is no amount of words I can say here that will do justice to the output of the bonus that I'm about to reveal. So let's say you want to get into search distribution. You don't know what topics, ideas, or angles to create for your search optimized YouTube videos, okay? Ghostwriter creates the video ideas for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Inside Ghostwriter, you can have dozens of agents. Those are basically done for you AI employees that will get all the work delivered to you with a single click of a button. So let's say you want to write a product page. Let's say you don't know how to do it. Just select the landing page agent. Then click generate and it's done. The entire page text is written for you. Or if you need a script for video on your product page, let's say you don't know how to script it. You don't need to. Just select the perpetual conversion video agent. Click generate and you have a video with potential of generating hundreds of thousands of dollars worth for your digital product. A video that will convert strangers into buyers on autopilot 24/7 based on the same scripts that I've used and tested exhaustively on my own products to generate over $100 million in digital product sales. All of that with a single click of a button. And then let's say you now want to use that same video concept to create dozens of short form for socials. Let's say you don't know how to turn that one concept into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 different short form videos. Ghostwriter will create these new concepts for you and write the scripts for each one of them. All you need to do here is go to the content tab, generate the video idea with the viral hooks agent. Then you click generate and it will come up with dozens of different concepts for your video. And if you want to get those ideas written for you, you just go back to the content section and select the short content scripts. You paste your video concept there and you click generate, and then it will write the entire script of that video for you, a script with real chances of not only attracting a lot of views, but also sales for your product. There are over 33 unique agents that you can choose from. That is 33 done for you AI employees. So that way, all you have to do is select what you want done and click a single button to get the whole thing done for you. And that will be your entire distribution setup with a simple few clicks of a button in minutes, not hours, not days. Listen, if you were to pay for a team to write all these scripts for yourself, that would probably cost you six figures. Even a month, that will cost you, because we have 33 AI employees right here, okay, working for you 24/7, okay? The amount of money that will cost you is inconceivable. And this is why we sell this enterprise plan for $2,999 a year for a license, okay? This is more expensive than anything else on the market because it's also better. It is a specialized tool for a specialized outcome, okay? Now, listen, if you want to go use another tool and have a Toyota experience, go for it, okay? We're giving you the McLaren experience, okay? If you want to go and try and shave your face, okay, and you want to use a kitchen knife to try to shave your face because, well, kitchen knives, they cut, okay? Or you want to go use a scissor, or you want to go use a chainsaw. A chainsaw is used for cutting. Be my guest. But we're giving you the specialized tool for a specialized outcome. And by the way, considering that this replaces entire content departments, this is cheap. For you, though, when you join Monetize, you're going to get full access to Ghostwriter OS 100% free. Do you see how, by simply pairing Synthesis AI, Ghostwriter OS, and WAP, you can now go from having to develop a digital product all by yourself, having to figure out how to get distribution for this product, having to deliver each product manually, to now having a proven product fully created for you by Synthesize, having the full distribution strategy mapped out and executed by Ghostwriter, and having your product delivered 24/7 on autopilot with WAP. Do you understand how that is a difference between being aware of a huge opportunity and now having access to the resources you need to actually act and take full advantage of this opportunity? You have just discovered a rich oil reserve, and I'm going to give you the oil rig and the team to extract and sell that oil. At this point, there's only one thing you are missing: access. And the truth is, the best opportunities will only be accessible behind closed doors. That's how it's always been, and that's how it will always be. So, wouldn't you love for someone who's already made it in life and has insane levels of access to literally just take you under their wing, invite you to their jet, and take you to places you could only normally watch from afar? Who wouldn't love that, right? Well, that's exactly what I'm proposing here. First, with Monetize Mania, I'm handing you a golden ticket to Monetize Mania. This is me giving you access to a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have a real chance of winning something huge, $250,000 in prizes, to be more precise. All you have to do is commit to this new Digital Product 2.0 opportunity, not for 2 years, not for 1 year, but for 90 days. Can you commit to something for just 90 days? Because if you can, this might be the push you need to finally go all in on your dreams of starting your own business and breaking free from the traditional system. 90 days from now, you could be an ungovernable individual and you could get compensated very well for achieving that. Here's how it's going to work. The person who creates their digital product with Synthesize and earns the most money from it in the next 90 days will get these keys right here. These are the keys to a brand new McLaren. And 90 days from now, I will personally hand someone these keys in person. And not only that, I'm going to give 5 Rolex watches to the next top 5 earners and 10 remote suitcases for the next top 10 earners. And by the way, you're going to need these suitcases because the top 30 earners will all get to fly out to our WAP New York offices for a 1-day in-person mastermind with myself and the WAP team. Where else do you get access to these levels of prizes in a competition that's actually realistic for you to win, where everyone is starting from the exact same place? Zero. By the way, this challenge starts on Monday, so no need to worry about the people who joined a few days before you. Everyone is actually going to start from zero on Monday onwards. Bonus 3 is premium WAP distribution. Now, part of having access to high-level individuals is that you get to enjoy perks that literally no one else has access to. That is why I've made this multi-million dollar investment into WAP, which comes with benefits that no one else in the industry can get. And you, as someone who gets to come with me on this jet, you get to take advantage of my deal to make you lots of money. Because I've gone on this arrangement for every single member inside of Monetize to get premium placement inside of WAP. We're going to have an entire category page just for us in the marketplace that moves the most volume of digital products in the world. Meaning, just by being a part of Monetize, you already have an unfair advantage over everyone else in the industry. That is the equivalent of having a physical product business, okay, and getting free shelf space in the front row of all Walmart stores around the US. How valuable is that? It's difficult to even put a price tag on that because you're essentially getting exposed to hundreds of thousands of buyers who spend millions of dollars a month on products just like yours. Remember the example I gave you earlier of the uncle who owns the most popular mall in your country and gives you premium location for free? That is the equivalent of, this is the equivalent of that in the digital world. I'm taking you under my wing and giving you access to a location that most people will pay tens of thousands of dollars for. So, are you going to keep struggling from the lack of access, or will you use it to your advantage so that way you can have an unfair edge over everyone else and enjoy the benefits that come with having access to the right people? Now, talking about what access can give you, it's time to address that huge announcement that I mentioned earlier today, which, as I said, is only going to be available until the end of this session. So trust me, you don't want to leave until you've made your mind up on this one. You see, I was talking to Jason after our session yesterday when I realized something that was hidden right in front of me this entire time. I don't know if you know this, but Jason didn't make most of his money by selling his own digital product. No, it's actually been 8 years since the last time he sold his own digital product. And by the way, in terms of actual earnings, money in the bank, he's in the top 0.00001% of this industry. And by the way, I don't think most of you guys realize this, but Jason holds the record, the world record for the highest grossing digital product launch in history. He made $57 million in a single digital product launch. $57 million. Now, how's that even possible if he doesn't sell his own products? Well, turns out there's an alternative model that you can use to make lots of money in this industry. And that is by partnering with someone who already owns a distribution channel. Imagine you own a restaurant and you could choose one single competitive advantage over anything else. I want you to drop in the chat, what would that advantage be? If you could choose any competitive advantage, okay, what would it be? Because I know what it would be for me. My answer, the best competitive advantage you could possibly choose is a hungry crowd. Because when you have a hungry crowd, it doesn't matter how good your food is, how high your prices are, or how big the line is to get in. When you have a hungry crowd, they will sit and they will clamor, okay? They will sit in line, they will beg, and they will do anything they can to buy your food. And the fact is, there are tens of thousands of businesses out there that have a hungry crowd and they're simply not offering food to them. And there's no easier win than that. And when I realized that, and maybe you're watching this, you want to get into digital products 2.0, but you don't necessarily want to have to worry about distribution. Well, then maybe, just maybe, you would prefer to partner with someone out there who already has part of that equation sorted. They already have a hungry crowd. So that way, all you help them do is build their digital product. And that's how Jason made most of his money in this industry. And that's exactly what I used to do back in my agency days. You see, back in my agency days, I used to take a return on ad spend, basically like a percentage of what I made them, okay? And I would go to existing digital product businesses. I would help them with their digital products, help them put it together. And by the way, that used to take me hours and hours and hours and months and months and months. And now, all of a sudden, you can actually get that done like a snap of a finger. And then I would launch that project and I would launch that product for them and take a percentage of their profits. So these days, creating a digital product for them is easy because you already have the recipe for how to do that. You have the software synthesized. So that way you don't even need to do it yourself. So only missing piece here, okay, would be learning how to actually partner with these people with hungry crowds and how to actually find these people and get them on board. And that is precisely what I used to teach inside of my highest selling digital product ever. The very product that created the most success stories in this entire online industry, Agency Accelerator. We've had tens of thousands of people paying $995 to join this program. It is literally dozens and dozens of pages of transactions. It literally teaches you how to identify these people with hungry crowds and partner up with them for a profit share on their sales. So I brought this up to my team. I told them that, hey, for the people who don't want to sell things on their own, and maybe they don't want to have to worry about distribution, we could potentially sell them a package of Agency Accelerator plus Monetize. But there was a problem because you can't really buy this product anymore. Okay. It's been discontinued for 6 months. We haven't sold it for 6 months. Okay. We completely closed up shop, done, never available again. So even if you wanted to pay me the, $995, which thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people paid for it, you couldn't get this because all my delivery systems for this product have been taken down. And by the way, this was pre-WAP. So it was a super complicated platform. And getting all that stuff back up and live, okay, just wouldn't be worth it. But I still want you to have a chance to have access to this. So here's what I had decided to do with the team. I'm going to take all the content from Agency Accelerator, dozens and dozens and dozens of terabytes of footage, because by the way, that program was all recorded on cinema grade red cameras, okay? Hundreds of thousands of dollars of cinematography equipment in the most beautiful locations in the world. So it is super, super heavy files, okay? It's large files. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload all that footage inside of the monetized WAP for you. Now, you might be wondering, how much is that going to cost you additionally, okay? Now, if you want to get this with monetize right now as a special extra, okay, as a bonus, I'm not going to charge you $995 for it. For me, I feel like that's not right. In fact, I'm not even going to charge you $500 for it. When you join monetize during today's live session, you're going to get Agency Accelerator completely free. Now, as long as you join before I click end on this streaming software, before we end today's live, as long as you join before the end of today's live session, you're going to get access to it. If you've already enrolled, or if you enroll before the end of our call today, then you get this live session only bonus. This is why I tell you guys, show up live, because you guys get benefits and bonuses that no one else gets. Now, if you've already enrolled yesterday or the days before, don't worry, because this is my free gift to you. Okay? Because as you know, anytime you work with me or my companies, we are going to under promise and over deliver. So we already had a bunch of people buy without this bonus. So you bought without this bonus, and now I've given you an extra $1,000 worth, like not fake, oh, blah, blah, it's worth this much. You want this extra bonus now on top. My gift to you. So with this knowledge, we've had kids in high school successfully starting their businesses and scaling them to over $10,000 a month. Just like a 17-year-old Ellen, who started making over $70,000 a month in profit. We've had people do it in North America, in Europe, but also in countries like India, Nepal, Algeria, South Africa, and everywhere else you can imagine. With this knowledge, we even had countless people who could barely speak English succeeding. With access to the exact same knowledge, do you see how realistic it is for you to actually succeed with this? See, my job here is to always over deliver. That is the type of perk you get when you get access to the right people. So if you've already signed up, get used to this, because I'm going to keep giving you more and more stuff that you didn't even know that you were getting. And by the way, speaking of the people who sign up today and get these bonuses, there's probably some other secret stuff I have up my sleeve. There's probably some other stuff I haven't been telling you I have up my sleeve that maybe you'll also get access to for free as a monetized member. So when you join Monetize today, you're going to get Digital Product Formula, which shows you step-by-step the best approach to unlock your profits with Digital Products 2.0. You're going to get Synthesis AI, which is our McLaren-style AI software that creates digital products for you with just a few clicks of a button. You're going to get Ghostwriter OS, the AI software that can turn one income source and one distribution source into 2, 3, 4, 5 sources done for you quick and easy. Plus access to Monetize Mania, where you're going to participate for $250,000 in prizes, including an actual McLaren. You're going to get premium distribution on WAP. That is your online beachfront property where you're going to have your products in front of millions of predisposed buyers who are already purchasing products just like yours. And our live session only bonus, Agency Accelerator. So that way you can find and partner with individuals who already have a hungry crowd wanting to buy from them to unlock large income wins fast. And the total value here is well over $10,000. Okay. And by the way, this would be an incredible deal if all you had to do was invest $10,000 to be a part of this. At $5,000, it would be an even better deal. $3,000 would be totally insane in terms of the incredible deals that you're going to be getting here. By the way, I'm trying to give this to you at the best economical price possible, because just in prizes alone, I'm giving away $250,000, which is why this is a incredible, mind-blowing deal at $14.95. And yes, we do have financing options available at the checkout. So here's what happens next. In just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for you to join in the comments. Now, when I drop the link, you have a decision to make. You can either take everything we've talked about today, file it away in that was interesting information, or you can go back to doing what you've always done. Okay. So you can do that, or you can take action right now. And taking the first step to becoming an ungovernable individual and achieving your turning point in the next 90 days. The choice is yours. But remember, as soon as I end today's session, this exact offer with all of these bonuses will never be available again. Okay, the McLaren competition starts soon. Agency Accelerator is a live session only bonus. And the premium placement opportunities on WAP are going to fill up fast. So if you're ready to finally be early for something big and take advantage of Digital Products 2.0 without requiring you to be some sort of guru or tech genius, then click the link that I'm dropping in the live chat in 3, 2, 1 now. Remember, as soon as I end today's session, this exact offer with all these bonuses will never be available again. So here's what's going to happen next. You're going to get redirected to our product page with all the details about this offer. Then when you click the button, get access now on that page, you'll get a pop-up to fill up your contact information. From there, you're going to get redirected to WAP, which is where you're going to finalize your checkout and select your payment option. Once that's done, you're going to get automatically redirected to the Monetize WAP, where you're going to get instant access to the Digital Product Formula, and you're also going to be able to log into Synthesis AI as well as Ghostwriter OS. Agency Accelerator is currently being uploaded to Monetize WAP as we speak and should be available by Monday at the latest. As I said, it's literally dozens and dozens of terabytes of footage, and we literally just had that idea last night to do this. So it's still uploading in there, and I'll let you know once it is done. Inside the swap, you're also going to be able to see the countdown to the start of our Monetize Mania competition, which kicks off on Monday. What you need to understand here is that Monetize is an entire package with lots of different gears that spin together. If you take one of these gears out, everything else stops working. It's not just the AI tools or the information or the premium distribution. It's everything put together, okay? You can have the best tools, but if you don't have the right information showing you how to use it properly, it won't do anything for you. Just like with the right information without those tools, you won't be able to act on the insights. I'm giving you the engine, the transmission, the wheels. If you take one out, your car won't go very far, okay? You wouldn't try to put a Fiat engine in a McLaren because it simply wouldn't run. And that is the beauty of a McLaren. It's perfectly crafted so that every single component works together to achieve insane levels of performance. and success. And that is truly what Monetize is. It's not just an AI or a course. It is your chance to take advantage of the best opportunity of 2025, Digital Products 2.0, with my direct guidance and all the tools you need to not only act on this opportunity, but have the best possible chances over everyone else to succeed. And after all, if you get into a race and you're driving a McLaren, and you have way more chances of winning than someone else who's just driving a Fiat. Most importantly, we're going to do this over a 90-day sprint, not 1 year, not 2 years. Okay. We are going to do this over 90 days together. And by the way, if you do well, you have a chance of winning a real McLaren 90 days from now. And by the way, the reason why I told you this is potentially the greatest risk-free offer in history is because we have an insane guarantee for Monetize. This is a better than money back guarantee. It is a work with you until you win guarantee. It's simple. You either make at least $15,000 with your digital product, or we keep working with you until you do, period. And what that means is we will never charge you another dollar. We're going to keep coaching you. We're going to keep giving you updates to new programs. We're going to keep supporting you until you hit that $15,000 mark. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, well, how do you actually verify those numbers? And that is a very fair question, because most programs, in fact, no programs out there can offer this sort of guarantee, because they have no real way to verify if you ever hit those numbers. And that is what that's what truly makes our guarantee different, because we can see everything through WAP. Every sale, every customer, every dollar, it is all tracked on our backend, which means we're not working on some sort of honor system where you have to trust us about the results, or we have to trust you. We can literally verify every number in real time. And that is why we offer such a strong guarantee, because we know this works, and we know, okay, we can prove that it's working for you. So really, you only have two choices. Either you succeed and make at least $15,000, or we keep coaching you and we keep working with you until you do. So there really is no way to lose. And in addition to all that, your investment is also protected by a 7-day full refund policy, meaning if for any reason you don't like what you get inside Monetize, you have 7 days to get 100% of your money back. All you need to do is email support@educate.com and ask for it, and it will get processed within 24 hours, no questions asked. With this, I'm literally taking all the risk out of the deal, okay? All the risk is on my side. I couldn't possibly be taking more risk on my side. You don't have any risk on your end today. The fact is, $14.95 is not going to be a make or break situation, okay? $14.95 is such a small, tiny amount of money, okay? It's a tiny amount of money, and it's not going to do anything for you, okay? It's not going to be a make or break situation. The truth is, what you need is not money, but you need to learn how to create a money printer, a machine that prints money for you consistently on demand. Because once you have that, all of your problems get eradicated, okay? It's as simple as that. And on Monetize, we work with you until you have that in place. There's no fancy conditions. There's no complicated rules. There's no sneaky fine print. And by the way, if you have any issues at checkout, our team is going to reach out to you within 5 minutes through the contact information they actually use to fill out on the checkout page. So make sure you keep an eye out on your WhatsApp or SMS for that. And if finances are tight for you, I get it. We have some of the best financing partners in the world, okay? Why? To make this accessible to anyone who is serious about changing their situation. And because we process everything on WAP, which by the way also gives me data to stuff that other people don't have data to, we're able to offer financing plans that literally no one else can. We're talking about breaking this down into manageable payments that anyone can afford. So what you should have in mind is that finding a single winning product is really all you need to do. Get to decide on what you work, where you work from, when you work, or if you even want to work in the first place. No longer stress about money and reclaim ownership of your life and be the one dictating the shots again, okay? That is the goal here. You're only one digital product away from the life that you have always dreamed of. Now, before we get into our favorite part, which is our live Q&A, there's one last thing I need to cover, and that is the workbook. Every single day, I will send a workbook in the WhatsApp group for the challenge with your homework. If you're not there yet, you can register by joining with your email using the link in the description of this video. By the way, every single workbook has its own password that you actually need to be able to type in, and you get access to that live. So today's workbook is deliver. All caps, deliver is the password. All caps, deliver. That's the password. Remember, the only ones that will actually see results from this challenge are the ones who take action, who act like ungovernable individuals before you actually become one. So your homework for today is simple. Ask yourself, what's currently stopping you from taking advantage of this digital product 2.0 opportunity? I want you to note that down. Then I want you to come with a simple, actionable plan that you are going to implement by the end of this week to make sure to solve the thing that is stopping you right now. It sounds simple, but this exercise is immensely powerful. And as always, you can check all the details in the resource page. All you have to do is follow along the instructions in the workbook. Now, with that being said, it is time for our Q&A portion, our sort of more informal hangout chill session. So you guys can go ahead and drop some questions in the chat below. We got my co-host Jason, who's just come into frame. And yeah, we will get into it.
What's up, guys? Let me get the mic over here, get situated. You know, we're coming down to the last couple of days. So this is the last formal presentation from Iman today. We're going to do one more formal presentation tomorrow. Then we're going to shut this bitch down and we're going to get to work, right? So if you're ready to get to work with me, if you signed up and you're ready to get to work, put in W in the chat right now. I want to see where you're at here because we have so many people that are signed up with us right now. And we're ready to rock and roll with you. We're going to take a couple more of you on before the end. And here's the thing. We cut it short yesterday on the Q&A. We really can't do that today because we have a webinar or session only bonus, I should say here. When this live is done, the bonus goes away with it. So that means if you have the pressing questions that are really important for you to get the answers to, now is the time to ask them because our goal here is to help you make the best decision. And if that decision is a no, I'm going to help you make a no decision. If that decision is a yes and you're not sure, then I'm going to help you make the yes decision. If you're in a maybe right now, which you probably are, then we got to tip the scales over to either yes or no. We have 11,742 people here rocking and rolling with me and with Iman, and we're ready to help you. First thing I saw, goes back to the money question, right? And that is, hey, $14.95 is a stretch to me, essentially. What should I do? You should attempt to do the financing that's available then, if that is the case. So have you attempted financing yet? That should be your first line of defense to this fear of spending money. We all have to spend money at one point in time or another. And so we determine what we spend it on and how we spend it. And so when you go to joiniman.com, and when we get a chance, can we put that down there in the lower third so everybody knows what that URL is, and you can check out the financing options. Now, I get it. We reach people from over 100 countries when we do these live streams, and we reach people from ages, 14 to 80 years old, or probably even older than that. So I get you come from a wide variety of different backgrounds and situations. So we will do our best to reach all of you. So financing is going to be different for some of you. Some of you are in a very tight financial situation. Some of you are not. And so just give us the one thing that the internet doesn't have, which is called nuance, right? To work it through with each one of your specific situations. And I'm going to just use my phone for the questions because the laptop is getting in the way for me seeing here. So any of the questions we have here, I rewatched the second episode again. I lost it. The chat's going by too fast there. Yeah. Dice. Yeah. So here's what that software looks like, by the way. So there's two software that is to the public, $29.99, $3,000 a year per software. You get 1 year access to that. If you wish to continue past 1 year, you can choose on your own free will to invest beyond that. This is called good business practice, by the way. The best way to grow a software platform is allow you to win with it for a whole year, and then you will realize it makes sense for you to invest with it further. So this is strategic for us. We can't allow everybody into that software because we would go broke. By the way, you doing AI stuff in that software, somebody pays for that. Guess who pays for that? His name starts with I, and it ends with N, right? Iman pays for that. Iman has sunk in money to do these AI calls on your behalf and then curate that and do all the magic that he does behind it. So somebody pays for it. It just isn't you for the first year. Other people will help you finance that because they'll pay $2,999 to make that happen. But you don't have to do this year. And then if you like it and you want to keep it next year, you can. If you don't, because these are assets that can continue to make you money, you don't have to do it beyond anything here. So all of this is completely on your own behalf, on which whether you're going to continue to use the software after 1 year. But to let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems. I think that's an important lesson for all of you to listen to right now. I'll tell you a huge success trait. Would you like to know a massive success trait that I've known? Because I've worked with so many millionaires over the years, and I've worked in so many businesses with so many influential people. It's that even if they don't have all the answers, they know that they can find the answers through the process, not from thinking about it and meditating on it, but by working through it while moving forward with incomplete information. That is one of the biggest definers of success. And so you might not know exactly the path. You might not know exactly which product you're going to sell yet. You might not know exactly which one's going to hit. You shouldn't let that uncertainty stop you from creating a future that you can be certain in. In fact, that uncertainty is the catalyst to creating the future that you can be certain in. So joiniman.com. I got some questions that were sent to me as well here. $1,000 is like 350,000 in some countries. That's the main problem I have. I feel you, right? So this is why we do all of this for free. You know, I saw some hecklers in the chat. They don't get it. We don't do it for them. We do it for the people like you who, if you can't pay in money, you pay in time. So you put the time in here today. And I get it if you're in a country where that's very tough. And so if you can stack paper up, and here's the difference though. When you win in countries like that, because I work with people in those countries, 1,000 a month in some of those countries is like $1 million a month. It feels like in California these days. So when you do win, the money stretches further and you go longer, and you can have more impact in your local community. So those are reason whys that can be motivational to you. So our goal is to empower you. Now, you are the exception. I will tell you that. You are the exception. A majority of you, about 90% of you, fall into the vicinity of, I have the money, should I spend it or not? So it's not really an issue of money. It's an issue of belief. It's an issue of circumstance. It's an issue of situation. It's an issue of lack of clarity, if this makes sense for you, which is why we're here to help out today. Morlow 35. Okay, here's a good one. How to make money using digital products without having any money. So let's assume you have enough money to invest. What you can use is strategies that are called organic. So listing on WAP, guess how much it costs you to list a product on WAP? Less than it does on the competitors, because the competitors all charge and WAP does not. So WAP doesn't have a barrier to entry for you to list your product. So we're already rocking and rolling from that perspective. What about advertising? You don't have to advertise. You can use all of the distribution channel secrets that we talked about yesterday.
I think, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to, sorry to cut you off, but I really want to elaborate on that. Like if we were doing this, like if I had invested into any other platform that wasn't WAP or any other company that wasn't WAP, each time you create a new product, you would have to pay a new subscription fee. And that's very important, because then this whole thing would come undone, okay? Because then you really have one chance. Or maybe you have as many chances of how many softwares you're willing to pay. Now, are you willing to pay for 10, 15, 20 different softwares? As in like same software, but 10, 15, 20 different groups or credits or whatever it may be? That's the issue, right? The real beauty with WAP is like, yeah, maybe your first digital product doesn't work out, but it costs you nothing to list it, to try another one or another one or another one or another one or another one. And that's the beauty of it. And as I said, you know, without that key distinction, just so you guys understand, without that key distinction, we couldn't even put together this whole event, because it would cost you money to keep trying, whereas it doesn't in our situation.
That's a fantastic point. Back in my day, young men and women, because I'm old like that in this business, is we had to buy 7 different things that all cost 7 different amounts of money, and they weren't made to be compatible and connect together. And so then we had to pay other things like programmers in order to connect them together. And it was a badge of honor. You were like, I'm glad this is so expensive, because then I'm the only one that does it. So if I miraculously don't die in the process, then I will have less competition, quote unquote. Now, here's what's interesting about that. There was less buyers online then. You know what time, you know what day specifically has the most amount of people spending money online right now? Today. And tomorrow there will be more. And the day after that, there will be more. So the market has 100x'd in size, more than 100x in size from when I first started. And it was worth doing then. So can you imagine how much it is worth doing now? It's a big market out there. Here's a good question. These are more of the questions that I want to get into, because I think this makes the difference on whether you invest or not. Somebody says, I'm already doing or attempting to do a software business. So should I stop that and go into a digital business? I'm a huge fan of yes and, not either or. In the past, yes and was a tougher decision to make, because it would require a lot of time and energy to do a digital product business. And so generally you had to replace what you're doing right now with something different. But if you're doing the software business, keep doing it and add the digital product business around it. You can either put digital products in front of software and make them sell better, or you can take software users and offer them digital products, and that will enhance your business because you have a full stack offering versus one thing. Regardless of what you are selling, I will state with 100% confidence that you should add digital products to it. There is not a single product that you can sell where a digital product doesn't enhance that business model. If you're selling supplements, you should put digital products around it. If you are selling, services, you want to know the best way to grow your service-based business, put information in front of it, and you will get more people. The more you tell people how to do it on their own, the more people will want to pay you to do it for you. It's just the most miraculous thing that's ever existed. So if you're not doing anything, make digital products your first thing. If you're already doing things, add digital products to it and see a synergistic effect take place. And joiniman.com is where we start that process of making that thing happen. By the way, deliver, all caps, that's how you get access to that workbook. And may I remind you yet again, you are witnessing in front of your very eyes how desirous people are to get digital products, be they free or be they paid. And hopefully that's not lost on you. That's super, super powerful. Now, let's talk about financing again, because I got about 56 questions that have came in about financing specifically. Here's how this works. I would love to give you a look over my shoulder, click by click, checkout process experience on this. I cannot, because depending upon your location that you're in, when you go to checkout, that will determine the options for you. Okay, so here's what you need to do. You need to go to joiniman.com. You need to begin the checkout process. And within that checkout process, you will see an option to utilize financing. And then attempt to do it on your own, because you'll probably find it's actually pretty easy once you locate the option. Then if you run into a hiccup, go back to joiniman.com and then ping them, and they're going to help you in the process. The support will be there to help you check out with this. So we have options for you. Support at educate.io is another option to get assistance. If you partially fill out the checkout form and then don't complete it, we will proactively begin reaching out to you as well. We are serious about you because you are serious about you. So if you're serious about this, then we take that very serious, and we want to be serious alongside of you. So that first step just goes to start enrolling. And I'm only saying that because so many of you are asking me a question that will solve itself once you start the enrollment process. And if you're not ready to enroll yet, that's okay. We'll figure it out, right? What if I only get paid on the first tomorrow and I don't have anything now? So let's assume that it's responsible for you to invest and you can still pay your bills. You can still make the heat payment in Dubai, the air conditioner payment, right? Let's assume all that's true. Yes, you can wait till tomorrow to join. The offer will still be available. Let's just be very clear though. What will not be available is the special fast action bonus that we have for you today. So those of you who have already invested, congratulations. We just enhanced it, right? We just added a little bit of extra value for you, free of charge, a little extra. There was a present under the tree that you weren't aware of that was even there. And then you woke up the day after Christmas and we said, hey, you missed one. And you were like, oh my God, yes. So that's what we did for you. If you haven't signed up yet, then if you sign up before we end the session today, then you will also get this. Now, I can speak very directly about this special fast action bonus. So we did a $57 million launch. From literal idea to 226 days later, 57.9 million to be exact. When you make 57.9 million, you can just round down $900,000 and just call it 57 because it's a lot of money at that point in time. And I wasn't the one that created that product. I did not create that digital product. What I did is I helped support the person who created the digital product. And as a result, we all made a bunch of money and we all had a big money pie that we split up that year. It was a good year. So guess what this bonus does? It teaches you how to do exactly what I have done very well over the years, which is either publish or partner with subject matter experts. So remember the concept of non-expert products. That is one way to get to the top of monetized mountain. Okay. But it's not the only way. You can be an expert and get to the top of monetized mountain, which is fantastic. Or you can find an expert. Because here's what I know about experts. They are usually terrible about monetizing their expertise. They usually have spent too much time becoming an expert, so therefore there's no time left over to monetize the expertise. I want you to think about it this way. If you were to run a marathon on your own, it would take a long time and you would have blisters and sores on your feet. But what if you could complete a marathon where somebody else ran the first 25.9 miles and then you finished it off with the last 0.3 miles, right? For international folks out there, you finished off the last 500 meters. So they ran the rest of it. They handed you the baton. You crossed the finish line and you both got a medal for finishing the race. That's kind of what this is. That's kind of what this bonus does. It allows you to find assets that are almost developed, but almost means $0 in the marketplace. Getting it over the finish line means at least the opportunity to make some dollars. And so this bonus will show you yet another way to leverage the power of digital products. There are so many ways, my friend, if you could only know. This is why when people are like, Jason, why are you guys spending 16, 27, 37 hours, it feels like, on all of these calls? Because I am trying to explain to you 1% of 1% of the possibilities. And 18 hours on these live calls are not enough. They're just beginning to scratch the surface. But if I can help you see it, and it's a good decision for you to make, that I can help you make that decision. And along those lines, there was a good question that was asked was, are you going to actually teach us in the program step by step? And the answer to that is 100%. Absolutely. So a lot of this communication when we're introducing a new idea like this, which is foreign to most of you, is there's a lot of setup involved. We got to paint the picture. We got to, establish the characters, the set and the setting on the stage. We got to make you familiar with what's at stake. Now that you already know all that, when you get into the program, it just gets down to business. You want to do X, here's the first thing you do. Here's the second thing you do. Here's the third thing you do. And here's what makes this even better. It works with the bonuses. So we don't just say, now let me teach you how to do it manually. And then, oh, by the way, there's a software over here. Part of the step-by-step process is using the bonuses. See, this is why I laugh. I get upset, but I also laugh. I get upset at the people who think, well, I can just use an off-the-shelf AI to do this. Let's assume there was an off-the-shelf AI that had the capabilities and power that Synthesize and that Ghostwriter OS do. Let's just assume that. You would still have to figure out how to use them. The world's best tool that you can't use is worthless. So if you're trying to hack your own AI to figure this out, you don't have a plan in place to use the tool that you're trying to use. You are trying to use tools that are dangerous if you don't know how to use them. So this is a very important point to make. So all of this is holistic. It works hand in hand, start to finish. And that's something you just ain't going to find anywhere else, because what about distribution? Well, we have the answer to that. So this isn't just AI. This isn't just digital products. This isn't just, how you do this business model. This is everything contained together in harmony. Other people are trying to sell you tickets to an orchestra where they have a piano player and a trumpet player and no conductor, right? We are giving you all the players in the orchestra and we are conducting the magic. Instead of making music, though, we're making money. Want to make money with us? You go to joinimon.com to get started. What do you think of that? And we're just getting started here today.
Restroom, I'll leave you guys.
All right.
In good hands. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
All right. By the way, let's give it up for Iman. He has put his heart and soul. He has been working tirelessly on your behalf for $1,500. By the way, I work with clients. We typically don't get out of bed for that price point. And I'll tell you why. Because it's hard to create a miracle for $1,500. The things that we develop cost a lot more than $1,500 in hard costs to create an advantage for you to have success in. And I'm going straight to camera now, now that I'm here center in front. JoinIman.com, that's where you get started. Here's a good question. Frost Gaming 1 says, monetize. Yesterday, you compared money momentum to physical momentum. Can you explain deeper why it gets easier to make more and more money? Is it like compounding interest? Yes, it is like compounding interest. Compounding interest is a mathematical concept. I like the physical concept of momentum because we are more familiar with that. Numbers are abstract, but we all know the physical concept. So one of the other reasons of, like if you ever pump a well, to try to get water out of it. You got to pump, and nothing comes out. And then once you pump it enough, water just starts spewing, and it will not stop spewing once you have done it. Once you break a dam open, the water floods, right? All of these are concepts of momentum. Isaac Newton, the father of physics, had a saying: an object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest. See, this is the hardest part, is getting started. You are at rest right now. You are not moving forward. And so I fight this war against your inertia, because when you're at rest, the tendency is to stay at rest. This is why this is so hard. This is why when we reach 500,000 people, which we have done so far during this promotional process, we know that 490,000 of them are likely to say no, despite our best efforts. But we know that if we do it right, we'll get 10,000 souls. And I can change the world with 10,000 souls. I can change the world with 5,000 souls. So I know that I'm reaching many of you, but I'm really only talking to a few of you when it comes to going from rest to getting in motion. Okay, I will be here to help all of you. One of the things that I do here, and hopefully it comes through, is I'm trying to give you insights and belief systems that will serve you well, independent of whether you invest with us or not at joiniman.com. But these are the same thinkings that will allow you to empower yourself to invest if it makes sense. But if not, still empower yourself. So this is an educational process that also helps you connect yourself, if you're the right person, with this program that we have here. I will tell you this, though. I have been through many revolutions, right? I fought in the World War I of internet marketing, and I fought in the World War II of digital marketing when they rebranded it, right? So I've been there and I've done that. And so I've seen things, and I'm generally really good at noticing when something is about to pop. If I've been anything in my life, I've been really good at being there right before the thing tips. And we're there right now with AI. If you started too soon with AI, it wasn't quite there. If you wait too late with AI, you missed the opportunity. It's tough, right? It's tough because there is a window that opens and then it closes, and then it becomes harder for anybody who doesn't get past the window. We saw this with Amazon. In Amazon, it became very easy for a certain period of time. And then after that, it was business as usual. It was just as good as any other opportunity. Drop shipping was the same way. It was super easy at first, and then it became like any other opportunity. The only difference is those who got the lead got the momentum, and the momentum became easy to maintain. Because when you got on Amazon in 2014 and you got 1,000 or 2,000 reviews because it was easy, the next person starting out with 0 reviews was already at a massive deficit. So it was harder because there was less space, and they had less momentum because they're starting with 0 when you had something more than 0. So there is a certain amount of urgency to get started here today. And I'm not talking like scarcity that we're putting on you with a countdown timer. I'm talking about the urgency because the opportunity is so ripe right now. But it won't stay that way. And I can't predict the future of when it will churn into, great, but not greatest. But it ain't there yet. Right now, it is a massive opportunity for those in the know with AI and those that can use AI the way that we discuss it and attach it to the right business model, which is digital products. But I digress. I can get deeper on that if you wish to, right? Okay. CU says yesterday the monetized pro offer on WAP mentioned lifetime access, but today it states one-time payment instead. Could you please change the reason for this? I do not know what you're referring to, but if the team is listening to me now and they can get clarity on that specific issue, we can definitely address that. Also, if you want to write to support to get clarification, just to make sure, support@educate.io is always a good place to go if you need anything from us. Support@educate.io. And then, of course, you can always get a hold of us when you go to joiniman.com and they get started up. Okay. Is it possible to make $14.95 on WAP and then go and use that money to invest in the program? It is possible that you could go start today and before this offer expires, because we're going to expire this offer shortly. Like, we're literally going to close the whole thing down and take it offline. It is possible you could go in there and make $14.95 in the next 3 days. It's highly unlikely. All right. It is incredibly unlikely. And I would argue even potentially counterproductive. When you try to rush something and go maniac style on it, right? Try hard mode. Generally, you don't make the decisions that make sense to the long-term health of you, your business, and your personal goals. And so instead, I would rather you take the tortoise approach versus the hare approach. Small, continual improvements every single day. The cool thing is you can create a digital product. Now, digital products are somewhat like flipping coins. Listen close. This is very important for you to understand this. And people won't tell you this. I will tell you this. Digital product is sort of like flipping coins. You don't really know if that product is going to sell or not. You don't. So you follow the best practices, you follow the system, you create it, you put it out there, and there's a chance that it might not sell. This is the real world, right? Warren Buffett doesn't buy every stock and it goes up. Warren Buffett has, quote unquote, losses, as anybody who's a human being does. But what's great about this is every digital product you create is an asset. And every asset can be leveraged. So some products that don't sell became good products to distribute for free to get an audience that you can then sell other products to. Some products don't sell in and of themselves, but then you go back and you look at the product and you change it from, say, a checklist to a worksheet, and then all of a sudden it begins to sell with just a little minor change. So sometimes you will have to create 2 or 3 or 4 digital products to get that first big win. Some of you will get it right away. Some of you will get it on the second one. Some of you will get it on the third one. Some of you will get it on the fourth one. But because these digital products are now incredibly easy to create, they are incredibly easy to create with the tools that we provide to you at joineman.com, that it really is inconsequential of whether you win today, tomorrow, next week, or next month, because once you win, you never lose that. Once you have impact in this marketplace, once you have people that buy your products and improve their lives, that never gets undone. There is no, undo button to that impact. So everything else is a setup to that win. And then once you win, you tip, meaning you get that momentum. And then once you get that momentum, you can either do quantity or quality. You can do similar products that do kind of the same thing, and then you create multiple income streams, or you can go to quality. You can say, now that I did this, what can I do that I couldn't do before? And then you go and do that. Impossible is just a series of breaking down very small possible things and slightly increasing their difficulty over a period of time. But we don't need to do the impossible to be successful in digital products. For most of you, just getting going and making a little bit on the side is really all the difference that you need to connect you with your whys. Because I've been looking at your whys and I've seen your whys. And they are generally not the kind of whys that you need millions of dollars in order to accomplish. So think about that. Now, what's good is options. Once you make money, then you have the option. I can make more money, or I can keep making the money and spend less time. And I want to give you that choice. That would make me so happy to be able to offer you that choice. And it starts at joineman.com. Okay. Man, you said that the results are guaranteed so that we can finance the access to monetize and pay it with the results of our sales. No, I did not say that. But it's okay. We're here to clarify this. We have the 15K guarantee, by the way, which is we work with you until you make 15K, meaning that all things that get published and updated with this program, all the quality of life improvements and all that kind of stuff, you maintain access to that until you hit 15K. All the details are at joineman.com. What I am saying is it's possible for you to, over, say, a finance plan, start to make enough money so when the next payment is due, you can more than cover it. I would not 100% bet on that, right? Because you are not going to 100% ever predict the future. I will say, though, that we increase the probability of success by using these tools, by using the marketplace, by getting premium placement, by have cutting-edge AI, by having all of those advantages that stack up together. We put ourselves in the most favorable condition possible in order to win. That's what you need to do. Okay. I have a story I'm going to tell tomorrow in my presentation, and it involves playing poker. I will give you a sneak peek at it here. Okay. Sneak peek to the poker playing story. And it's this. You can get better at poker and maybe make more money. So you learn game theory, you learn how to bluff, you learn all the odds and all that kind of stuff. Or you can find tables with really bad poker players who bet lots of money. Then you don't have to get better at poker, yet you will make more money at poker. So me as a strategic thinker, and what we try to do when we put these programs in place is to get you a better result without you having to get better, which is the miracle. And why do we do this? Because your success is important to us. Because the more successful you are, the more successful WAP as a marketplace is. And because Iman is a co-owner in WAP, the more value he has as a stakeholder in that company. And so our goal is to require the least amount of improvements on you as possible to improve your financial situation. Nobody thinks like that. Old man Fladlin, who has moved markets and has completely set records in industry after industry in shark-infested red waters where there's, they eat their young every Monday morning, right? I've been able to compete because philosophically they're trying to make everything better, and I'm trying to set you up in more favorable conditions, so you have to do the least improvement possible. Now, I want you to improve, and over time you will improve, but I want you to get the result with the least amount of effort required in order to get that result. You know what Bill Gates said? He said, if I really wanted to get the job done, I would find a lazy person to do it because they would creatively find the way that required the least amount of effort. And that's kind of the play here too. So by giving you premium placement, that's how we do that. By giving you access to these AI tools at a special deal for a bonus, that's how we do this. By adding in the bonus we offered today, which is only available until the end of the session. I have this thing that says in stream right over here, big ass button. It says in stream. When I click it, that bonus disappears. It is no longer available. So we give that bonus as well as an advantage. Now, we can't give that bonus away to everybody. That just wouldn't make sense to. So we have to give it to those of you who will use it. How do I know who will use it? The people that show up. That's how I know who will use it. You have shown up today. Many of you, I recognize your names. You have showed up consistently. Here's how I know you've shown up consistently. When you put those questions and you put monetize in front of them. That was a day one thing that I did and never mentioned it again. And we're on day 4, and y'all are still seeing that in the chat, right? So I'm seeing you show up consistently. So if I'm going to give anybody unfair advantages and extra resources, I ain't going to give it to the person that sleeps in and maybe shows up. I'm going to give it to the person who shows up ready to change their situation. You take one step with me, I will take 10 steps for you. But until you take that first step, I can't take any steps on your behalf. So your first step today, if you're ready to go, is to go to joiniman.com, and then we will immediately deploy 100 steps on your behalf to empower you, to empower yourself. Oh my God, we got some good questions here, okay? Shinobi says, this is good. Stop thinking, buy it, take action. I would have paid $10,000. Yeah, I have seen people pay $20,000 for packages that are half as good as this and still succeed with them, by the way. So that's something to think about and ponder. Dion, the realtor, says, can I pay for monetize next week, or will the offer be done? It will be done completely by next week. Okay. I am not at liberty to disclose when we're taking the offer completely off the market. Know that it will certainly still be available by tomorrow. Okay. I can't guarantee it a day after tomorrow, though. If you invest today, though, you get the extra bonus. So if it makes sense to invest now for you, it does. If you have to wait a day to invest, then wait a day to invest. It doesn't really matter to me as long as I get you in. Here's the thing about this. If you don't get in, it's incredibly hard to help you succeed, because I don't really have control over your future, because I'm not going to be in contact with you anymore. We're not going to give you access to the resources. You're not going to have the ability to log in and play with it. You're not going to be in that 90-day sprint for Monetize Mania. And so it's hard to impact you on the outside, and it's easy to impact you on the inside. So if you're looking for impact, I'm nervous if I can't help you beyond just the sessions that we're doing here today, which is one of the reasons why I'm committed to sit here with you and discuss with you if it makes sense for you to join. And if it does, you go to joiniman.com and you get started. All right. So, okay. In case I don't make enough money, is it still possible you succeed without the tools you provide? Yes. It 100% is. Success is part attitude. Okay, let me drop a little bit of game. Okay, come a little closer. We're going to get a little philosophical here. And then I got some more questions I'm going to answer, more specific questions. I like to balance the two out. Okay, success is part attitudinal. So winners find ways. Winners find ways. And many of you, I'm confident, given enough time, effort, trial and error, and energy, if you are seriously committed to your why, you will find a way to win, even without the AI, even without the WAP premium placement, even without the training program, even without the incentives and the support of the community, even without the extra bonuses. If you're truly committed to your why, you will find a way to become successful over a period of time. But here's what that means. It will probably take a lot longer. It will probably be a lot tougher. It'll probably be more stressful. It will probably require more risk. So there are plenty of people who succeed without any of these resources. But many of them, had they known these resources were available, would much prefer to have had them than not have them. And there are certainly people that without these resources, they will not succeed because the resources help shape the attitude. Right now, there are things you think you can't do that once you get into the program and you use the resources, you will notice you can do them easier than you ever imagined. And that will help shape that attitude of success. And that attitude of success will get you in a certain emotional state that will make you powerful when you attach it to the resources that we provide to you. All right? Now, again, because I can speak from a different perspective than Iman, I speak to an older generation typically. So I'm 42 right now, which I consider still young. So tell me I'm young. Make me feel good about myself for a little bit, right? I'm not that old. But I started in the game when I was about 25 years old, 24 actually. So I typically have worked with 50 to 65-year-old demographics. That's my claim to fame. That's where I play in, right? And we typically deal in investments that are $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. And to that generation, that makes sense. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll put that in place. And they do it because the advantages related to the price are that significant. And we do it to make it the best deal possible, not to make it the most expensive thing out there. What we try to do is give as many resources as we possibly can and then lower the price to the lowest it can possibly be to support, maintain, and extend that advantage to our audience, to our customers. And generally, we can't do that for under $5,000. I would rather be the best thing out there and be twice as expensive as the next thing than to be second best but cheap. You feel me on that one, right? So this is the best of both worlds from where I come from at least from my perspective. For most people, $14.95 is a steal comparative to the value that is offered here. Now that doesn't make your bank account feel any better if it's tight. I feel you on that. This is why you need to explore the financing option and see if you qualify for financing. Now, if your credit is terrible, if you don't have a credit card, you will not qualify for financing, right? But financing is there for those of you that are in a tough but somewhat manageable economic situation currently. And I think you will find that this will allow you to get in, provided, of course, you are committed to me. Because listen, I don't want you to buy and do nothing. I will be upset if that happens. And let's be clear with each other. What is my financial incentive here? What's Fladland's deal? What do I get if you buy? I get nothing. Okay. I charge Iman a flat fee. We're going to renegotiate that for the launch. I know they're listening, so make a note of that. But as of today, whether you buy or you do not buy, Jason Fladling becomes exactly $0 richer, okay? Now, in goodwill, I become infinitely more valuable because if you can point to me and say, Jason was the one that helped push me over the edge and he helped me understand that this was a good decision, and without him, I wouldn't have made this decision. And without him, I wouldn't now be where I'm at 3 to 6 months later. And then that always comes back to me. That's how I built my legend in this business. is through a reputation of being the absolute best and most sincere. And you can, the evidence is out there. You can look it up, right? To be in this business and to have the reputation that I have is unheard of. So it will always come back to me in goodwill. But if you buy or not, if all 6,806 of you buy today, I will make exactly $0 more. So why am I trying so hard right now? I am trying so hard right now to connect with you because I see all the AI products out there. I see all the training out there. I see all the distribution models out there. And there's some ones that are really good at one of those things. And there are some of those that are really good at two of those things. But for the investment, none of them are as good as all of those things connected together. Yep. And when the success stories start to roll in, as they already have, I don't know if you noticed this, but we've already produced success stories from people who've signed up since 2 days ago or 3 days ago. I don't know when it was, right? It was on day 2 of this challenge, and we're on day 4. We've already produced success stories. You know what happens when success stories roll in like crazy? Price goes up to better and more accurately reflect the value. It always does. Now, what's cool is when price goes up, maybe you could add more stuff to it. Maybe you can enhance it. Maybe you could do some crazy stuff like that, right? What's cool, though, is with this guarantee, you'll get access to those things until you hit 15K. And then you have the option, if you want to invest more, to go further and all that good stuff, right? But until then, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You just have to lock in and write 15K on a wall that faces you that you see when you sit down and go to work. And you say 15K, 15K, 15K. Or you print out a picture of a McLaren, you put it on the wall over there and say, that could be mine. And then you go in, right? Or maybe it's one of the Rolexes, right? Or maybe it's just the bragging rights. Or maybe it's just the connection of the community that you'll get when you're one of those people that show up at the WAP headquarters. And by the way, I met my business partner at an event, and it completely changed my life for the better. Without him, there's no possible way I couldn't have achieved everything that I've achieved in my life. But I met him at an event, just like you have the capabilities if you're one of the people that chart up on WAP. But you can't win the game if you don't play. You can't make the shot that you don't take. You can't know what's possible for you on the outside. You can know on the inside. And then if it doesn't net, there's a guarantee in place. Let us prove it to you by allowing you to test drive this. And then you can see if what we say matches up to how it is. But you can't say that right now until you get into the program. But once you're in the program, then you can say, hey, does it match the tin? Right? What's inside the box? Did it match the label on the outside? And you can hold us accountable to that. Give me the opportunity to allow you to hold us accountable by going to joinemon.com and getting started, okay? Now, let's clarify the guarantee again, because there's a little bit of misunderstanding from some of you. We are not saying we will pay you 15K if you don't make it, right? That's insane. And by the way, that's not a good relationship you would want to have with anybody else, right? If I create codependency with you, I have not empowered you. And that's not what we're doing. We're trying to create independent people, financially independent and empowered, emotionally independent people. So we will work with you until you make 15K. We are not paying you 15K. You are finding a way to pay yourself 15K by selling digital products, and we will support you with everything we can on that journey, far above and beyond the normal promises that are made with challenges and courses and trainings that you may have invested in the past or that you were considering investing in. So I just want to be very clear with that. And how do you guarantee? How do you know to trust us on that? Because that was another question from Devon here. You have to see, do we sound credible? Would our reputation be at stake if we didn't do this? Does this make sense to you? Does it feel right? And if it does, it does, right? Man, some people are so cynical. You could put $100 bill in front of them and they would think it's counterfeit. And other people are so optimistic they'll believe anything you say. We don't want either one of those people. We want reasonable people that say, this seems to all make sense. It sounds pretty good. Let me try it out. Joinemon.com. That's where you go to try it out. Try it out. Lucas has a good question. How do you position your company versus competitors? We don't. You know, the best way to compete is to compete with the value you can provide to the customer and not care about the competition. There are other marketplaces out there who shall not be named, right? We don't think about them. What we think about is how do we make our marketplace so attractive that it's undeniable? And then we don't have to worry about the competition. Any moment I'm thinking about the competition is a moment I'm not thinking about a customer. Put this down. Like, listen, this is a writer down here right here. This is a good attitude for you to have. And we're going to elaborate on these attitudes tomorrow, right? Anytime I'm thinking about a competitor, I'm not thinking about a customer. You know how you get rich in this business? One, you have digital products to sell. And two, you obsess over the customers who may buy them. If you become obsessive over your customers, you will become rich. That is a fact. It is impossible to not be obsessive over serving your customers and not make enough money to become financially dependent. So what we do is we obsess over customers and we don't even consider the competition. And so we are at competition with our own ability to provide value. And every day we try to outvalue ourselves. And if that sounds good to you, let the competition begin at joiniman.com. Now, there is a competition on the inside. The competition is how can you sell the most amount of money? And there's an incentive for that. Or how can you sell the most amount of product to get money? And the incentive is, of course, the bonuses that you see there, the perk of winning potentially a McLaren, some Rolexes, some travel gear, being part of a special event, all that good stuff, right? And remember, we have a fast action only bonus for this session. Meaning if you've signed up already, or when you sign up before I end the session here today, you get the extra goodie. You get the agency bonus where you help other people that have value or audience and haven't harvested that value yet. You help them by assisting them with putting a digital product in place and then sharing the sales with them. And I'll be happy to elaborate more on that model because I'm like the foremost expert at doing it. Iman is the best in the world at teaching it and training on it. And I've had the best single result with actually doing it. So we're like the 1-2 punch of it here today. And you get that as a bonus, as a resource. That's one of the reasons why we made it a special fast action bonus here today. Amongst others. One of the reasons we made it is because after the session yesterday, I got off the session and I talked to Iman and I said, man, people are so close to investing in themselves, and it will be a good idea for them too, because I can just see it by the questions they ask and I can just feel it by the things that they say. But something is stopping them. And one of the reasons we thought was, again, with distribution and again, with not even necessarily knowing the difference between expert and non-expert products. So we say, how do we make that not an issue? And this is how we came up with it. Okay. It makes sense, right? Yeah. Mayan says, it sucks. I don't have enough money, so I stay behind. Can I do it alone without monetize? Let's be very clear with each other. I just want you to do the business model that we talked about here today. I want you to do it regardless of whether you invest with us or not. Why would I want that for you? Why do you suppose that I am motivated to do that for you? Okay. One, because I want to see you succeed. I have children and I want to raise them in a world with as many people that are empowered as possible. It scares me to see all these disempowered people out there that don't have anything to do with it. So the best thing that I can do for my children is to create the world that I want them to live in. So regardless of whether you invest with us or not, I want you to do this business model because I think AI combined with the opportunity with digital products is the single greatest advantage I've ever seen in my 18 years in this business. So this is one of the reasons why I want you to do this business model. The second one is, again, and we already alluded it to earlier, is the more I create value in advance with audiences, the more value comes to me in the future. So this is me making an investment in my own future with you here today. This is me being of service to you, knowing that by being of service, it always comes back to me in the end. This is a belief system that I have, okay? Now, for many of you, doing it alone is not the best option. Now, if it's the only option, then you accept it and you get it on, right? You accept it and you rise to the occasion and you get it on. If that's your only option, that's your only option. There's nothing we can do about that. But if that's not your only option, and for many, many, many of you, many of the 6,159 of you on this call, that is not your only option. And for a lot of you, it's the worst of the two options. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. Getting rich has a cost. You pay more taxes if you get rich. But being poor has a cost. And that is you don't have options. You don't pay taxes, but you don't have many options, right? You have less options. The best thing you can do for the poor is not be one of them. And this is a way that we can help you. And the next best thing is to get rich or something in between. By the way, rich is different for different people. About an extra $50,000 a year is a complete life changer for a majority of people. And if you do the math on that, you say 50,000 a year, that's 5,000 a month essentially. And if I'm selling a $50 product, I got to sell 100 of those. I got to sell 3 a day. 3 a day. That's it. 3 a day. Life changing. And if you can do 3, you can do 6. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One thing you can consider doing. Okay. I'm a little nervous suggesting this to you right now. I may regret this later. But one thing you can consider doing is talking to a friend or a cousin or somebody else saying, hey, let's partner together in this business. You help me with the investment. I will do more work as a result. And we'll start a business together. So that's a possibility. Okay. It's an option. Creativity is so undervalued in today's world because we have so many things that come to us so easy in terms of like the internet and technology and information. We have lost our creativity, but creativity is so valuable. So there's creative ways to find the opportunity to join us. There's creative ways in which you can leverage what you already know combined with this program to have huge, massive upside and big wins. It starts at joinemon.com. By the way, they got this candle over here. It's freaking awesome. It smells so good. I'm like, I've sat on thousands of hours of having discussions with customers. And I'm like, why have I ever done this before? Powell is like, what exactly will you be doing for us to make the first 15K? A, we'll give you all the resources in this training program here. B, any future updates that would otherwise be charged as optional upgrades that you could consider enhancing your experience will be given to you for free. That's what we do for you. And C, we hang in there with you, right? I think of this thing. It's called Footprints in the Sand. It's a poem. And it goes like this. Man has a dream one night and God's with him talking to him and they're walking down the beach. And he says to God, I see 2 sets of footprints. That's when I walk beside you. And then there's other times when there's only 1 set of footprints. And he goes, God, I noticed during the times there was 1 set of footprints. Those were the hardest times of my life. Why did you abandon me during those hard times, God? And you know what God says to him? He says, I didn't abandon you. When you see 1 set of footprints, that's when I carried you. I carried you, my son. That's the line, right? And I think about this when we help our customers is we walk alongside them and sometimes we have to pick them up and carry them. And we do that by bringing as many resources and leverage and advantage as we possibly can. So we carry you in the sense of giving you the premium placement inside of WAP. We carry you by giving you an incentive to succeed. We carry you by not giving up on you and including things in the future to continue to give you extra leverage. If we see opportunities where we're like, man, if we created this one thing, this could solve an easy problem for this segment of customers, we just create that thing and give it to you. Okay? So that's some of the ways in which we can help you. Joinemon.com. Listen, I feel some of the cynicism that some of you are showing in the chat right now. I feel some of this skepticism, and I get it, and I don't take it personal because I understand that a majority of options you see out there and maybe things you've invested in the past didn't quite live up to the expectations. Am I right in that sense of how I'm feeling right now? And so when I see that, I empathize with it. I don't take it personal. I get when you say, like, what are you going to do with me? How are you going to help me with this 15K, right? I feel it because I am paying the sins of other people who have let you down in the past. I am paying for their sins, and I will pay for all of them. I will pay for each and every single one of them. If that allows me to hang in there with you to help get you the breakthrough that makes all the difference. So I will get it. So if you bring the hard questions to me, I'm doing the best I can. We have 5,826 people still on. I'm doing my best as I can to answer them. And it reminds me of this old story with Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, the saint, was going around and she was trying to get money for her hospital. And she goes to somebody and she puts her hand out for money and they spit in her hand. And you know what she says? She goes, that was for me. Now, what about my people in the hospital? What will you give them? Right? So I will take that if it helps with the mission. If I can get through to you one way or another. I'm not above or below that, right? Joinemon.com, that's where we can get started with this shindig. Is there a promo code for the checkout? No, we've given you the very best deal. There is no better deal than the deal that we've given you here today. Yeah. This is the best that we can. I saw somebody spam a question. It just caught my eye right now because they hit it about 5 times in a row. They're like, I'm going to summarize it here. And I didn't even get to read it all because it went so fast. It was like, if you're so willing to help us, why are you even charging us at all? Right? It's like, why does the airplane charge you a ticket? Why don't they just fly you for free? And then once you get there, you can pay them. Why does the hotel that I'm staying in, why doesn't it just give it to me for free? And then if I like it, I can pay it at the end. Right? We have significantly hard costs that it's going to be very hard for you to wrap your head around the kind of money that moves in order to put one of these things in place. So that's the first reason that we don't do this. It would be economically impossible for us to work a model like that, especially because we're only 100% responsible for 50% of this equation. I am not ultimately responsible for the decisions you make. I can support you. I can cheer you on. I can help you become aware of decisions that I think are not in your best interest, but I can't make your decisions for you. That's an unhealthy relationship, by the way, for me to try to take on your problems. Instead, what I do is empower you so you can solve your problems. And so that's the part of it, is the investment is required because we have to be responsible for us and for everybody, not just for you. And so part of that is developing the resources in place. Okay. Here's the second reason though. You don't pay, you ain't committed. You ain't committed, your chance of success go down significantly. So we vote with our wallets and we vote with our schedule. And what's cool is when you pay money, you tend to show up to the things that are scheduled. You feel me on that? Tell me that ain't true, right? You know it's true. Money is like the best productivity hack, okay? You want the ultimate productivity hack, right? It's this: pay for something and you will become more productive towards it, because there's a cost now for unproductivity. But when it's free, there's no cost for not being productive on the thing. This is like a heat seeker missile of focusing of your attention. So instead of going out there and looking and thinking about and window shopping 157 different options, you dance with the one you took to the prom. Take me to the prom. Not really, right? I ain't going to the prom with you. I'll go with my wife. But take us to the dance, metaphorically, when it comes to building this digital product business. And so commit to us and we'll commit to you. Commit to us just what we're asking, a small investment, and we will commit a large amount of resources to your success. Okay? Joinemon.com. Great stuff. Where's support for checkout? So just write support at educate.io if you need help with support. Support at educate.io. Yep. This is a good one. Do you have the same level of hunger after achieving your goals? I can't speak for everybody, but at 42, I'm hungrier than I ever have been in my entire life. Every year, I look back at the last year and I say, oh my God, look at what I've learned that I didn't know before. Every year, life becomes more interesting to me because I have more depth, because I have learned more and I can invest it in the next year. So I can't speak for everybody, but for me, my appetite has increased because my success is mainly measured in the impact I now have in the world. Now, that might not be you. The beautiful thing about this earth is that you and I have a different essence in which makes us us. And our goal is to find that essence. And so for you, you might not need the hunger. You might get enough, and then there's other things that are important in your life. But what we want is the option to find that out. And until the finances are set, it's hard to do anything else. And unfortunately, I'm generally an optimistic guy. Unfortunately, it feels like financial times ahead are going to get more uncertain. than normal, probably a lot more uncertain than normal. So if there ever was a time based on economy to really get this in order, it's now. And by the way, if there ever was an opportunity simultaneously to get this in order, it's also now. Yeah. By the way, if it's worth doing under any condition, regardless of whether it's easy or hard. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing, right? I don't decide to be a father to my children because it's easy. I'm a father to my children because that's what I'm supposed to be. That's my role. And sometimes it is unbelievably fucking hard. But there's no option to quit. If it needs to be done, it gets done. That's an attitude that I would love for you to play with. Try it on every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then take it off for the rest of the week, right? But for 3 days a week, if you had the attitude of if it needs to get done, it gets done, you will go farther than 99% of people who are trying to go far. Now, if you have that attitude and you have the tools, like if you say dinner needs to get done and then you have nothing to cook, it's a two-part equation, right? I'm a big fan of both psychology and sociology. I'm a big fan of me individually being responsible and me being in a community that can help me be responsible. I see both sides of the equation. I'm not this one guy who thinks if it's all on you, all your problems and all your successes. I see it holistically, right? But part of that is having that attitude. If it needs to get done, it gets done. And then having the tools to make it as easy to get done as humanly possible. That's what winners do. You want to win with us? You go to joiniman.com. There was a question here. Jason, will you be personally coaching or helping Inside monetize? How can we learn more about you? I will probably find my way in there right now. It's not a formal structure and agreement. But don't be surprised. I am considering adding something to the offering at joiniman.com. I can't promise it to you because it hasn't been set yet. You want to know the scoop of how this works? A friend of ours, a guy named Dan, recommended to Iman. He said, hey, listen, you're doing this launch. Fladlin's the best. You should hire him, right? Those guys reach out to me. I don't even think that we did a exploratory call. I think I literally over WhatsApp told them, guys, this is my rate. This is how I work with companies. Does this sound good to you? And they said, yep, it sounds good. And we agreed on the deal and the price. And then we went to work. We didn't even know each other a month ago. We just started working together less than 3 weeks ago. But because of my reputation and because Iman is an absolute genius at judge of character and being able, his instincts at his age are incredible. I have never seen anybody that has such sharp emotional IQ of the marketplace and such quick instincts to move in the directions with things that make sense. That's generally wisdom that you get after 30 years of playing this game. So he's got strong instincts and he's got good, he sees the vision and he can strategically execute out a way that generally you don't see unless somebody's stacked up 30 years of experience. So this is the inside scoop. This is why I like these Q&As, by the way. We don't have to go on a slide deck here. We can let our hair down, although I have less and less of it these days. So we haven't thought beyond me assisting him. Now think about this. He put me in front of his most valuable resource that he has, which is his audience of people. And so he is entrusted into me to help assist you because he knows that I'm really good at helping people who should join to join, helping people see it from a perspective that no longer limits them. Because the thing that will stop you more in this business is the limiting beliefs that you put on yourself that simply aren't true. And so whether you realize it or not, a majority of what I do, and I do this with all my coaching clients, they pay me to do this, by the way. This is you getting game for free from me, but they pay me to do this. I help them see things from a perspective that will empower them versus the current perspective, which doesn't empower them. And when you change a perspective, you change the results. And that's what we do typically. Now, you can't change somebody who doesn't want it. But if you change somebody who wants it and they have the proper financial foundation in place and the resources in place to make it work, then it happens. I can't teach you how to dunk a basketball if you're as tall as my wife is. My wife is 5 foot, maybe. I'm never going to teach her how to dunk a basketball, right? So there's some actual physical requirements involved. And then there's the attitude of you having to want it. And then the rest is details. These are the limitations that get in the way. And many of them are false. limitations. And I still have false limitations. The reason I'm not a billionaire right now is because I have limitations of beliefs that get in the way of me making $1 billion. The reason I still have anxiety on a somewhat regular basis is I have challenges and limitations in my own beliefs on what anxiety is and how I interact with it. And I work on myself. So I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm doing. But what's cool about this is it's easier for me to do it for other people. I can't read my own label when I'm inside the jar, but I certainly can help you with yours, especially in this context, in this environment, because I've been doing it for 18 years and I'm the best at it. So joiniman.com. I'll figure out a way to keep helping you because that's what I do. And I appreciate the sentiment. So thank you so much for bringing that up. We got some more good questions here. Don't you think that not buying is actually a loss? I think for a majority of you on this call, that is an actual fact. I do. I just do. Now, I won't judge you if you don't, because I get it. There's a lot of emotional intensity that goes with a big purchasing decision like this. And let me break down why, by the way. It's a double-edged sword. Because if you've never succeeded, you don't know what that's like. And that's more scary than failing. Okay? Here's a very important thing I've understood about success, and it took me a long time to understand this, because I would look at clients and I'd say, why are they hesitating here? Because it's the most obvious thing. It's like this thing was designed specifically with this person in mind, so why aren't they scooping it up? And I used to think it was only fear of failure. And if I could remove that fear of failure, then I could help them succeed. But then it dawned on me one day, failure is all they know. So while it hurts, at least they are aware of it and can anticipate it and know what to expect from it. But becoming successful, when you've never done it before, you have no frame of reference for that. You do not know what that's like. And the unknown is scarier than the known, even if you don't like the known that you have right now. And that's the toughest thing. So yes, I do believe that not buying is actually a loss, but I'm aware that it's very scary for you because you could buy and it doesn't work for you and that would make you feel bad, or you could buy it and it works better than you ever thought and that could overwhelm you because it's new. And the thing we're programmed to avoid as humans is anything different than what we're comfortable with, even if what we're comfortable with will put us in the grave. Yeah. So this is why it takes a while to make these things happen. This is why I'm willing to hang in here with you to break it down to brass tacks. This is why I'm willing to chill. And I really enjoy this. And by the way, it's 11:24 p.m. Dubai time. I mean, this is insane. I haven't done these things for years like this. But when I know there's 5,332 souls on the line, I'll suit up for it. Joinimon.com. That's where we get started, okay? What mindset should a business owner have towards other business owners as competitors? So Amit asked this question. So I kind of answered it earlier, but I'll answer it again in this way. Your only competition should be with bettering yourself versus who you were the day before. How can I be more of who I am today than I was yesterday? That's the real competition. You don't have to worry about other people that are out there. By the way, in the product business, the digital product business, I run a $35,000 a year mastermind. And you know who our number one buyer is of a $35,000 a year mastermind? It's people who are already part of other people's $35,000 masterminds. I learned this many years ago in a book. Early on in my career, before I ever made $1, I heard this in a book and it forever changed my life. And the story goes like this. Say you are a suitcase salesman and two guys walk in to your store, it's closing time, and you can only service one of them. And one of them walks in with a beat up, battered up, bruised up suitcase, and the other walks in with a brand new suitcase. And you can only sell one of them. Who do you sell? And people that don't know the setup, they think you sell it to the person who needs it. The one with the beat up, battered up, old crusty suitcase. No, you sell it to the person with the brand new one because he's a buyer. Because why would he be in the store when he already has a perfectly good suitcase? Because he likes suitcases and he wants more than one. He wants multiple ones. You know who to sell an expensive watch to? The guy who owns 12 expensive watches, not the guy who's never purchased an expensive watch before. You know who you sell a digital product to? The person who's bought 7 other digital products of a similar nature, and yours is only slightly different in variation than the other ones, right? So competition is a fantastic thing in this business, but ultimately it is of little consequence. Don't let other people dictate how you live your life. Let me say that again. Don't let other people dictate how you live your life. So competition should not dictate how you choose to run your business. The beautiful thing about a business is it's not a competition. It's not there's a winner and a loser. There's a first place and there's a second place. It's not one champion per year and everybody else goes home, right? Businesses are a variety of different things that you can create in so many different situations that serve you as a person. And your rules of what makes you happy in your business can be completely different than mine. So I can win and you can win. And we can all win. Yep. And the customer wins most of all. That's our goal. Joinimon.com if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of. Okay. All right. Let's see. Will we get access to Flozy 1 year in this bonus? Tell me I'll buy today because I was planning to buy it tomorrow. I don't know what Flozy is. You get access to an extra special bonus if you buy before we end this session here today. And that is the agency bonus that will allow you to take these tools in this approach and do this with other people who have assets in place that have yet to be leveraged properly. So some people have huge audiences, and the only thing stopping them from selling a digital product to those audiences is they don't know how and they don't want to do it. But if you can do that with them or for them, you can make so much money. It's not even funny. And I have done this many, 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 many times. It's the number one way that I've made money in this business. Okay. So that's what's really cool about that. You can also take their expertise and package it, and you can leverage it and you can sell it as well. So that's an extra special bonus. That's a legit bonus because people have paid legit money for it. That's not just some funny bonus that we threw together last minute. That is a high value, real world. People have made significant money and have been super successful with it. And that bonus is available only until I click end stream on the upper right-hand corner here. All right. Brescia says, that's how you show your commitment because nobody's going to take it more seriously than when they have to pay out of pocket. Yeah, true. I told the story the other day. I couldn't afford my first big program that I wanted to buy. So I had my boss charge it on his credit card. And then I wrote him a check because my credit card wouldn't cover the charge. I had a $500 credit card and I wanted to buy a $2,000 product. Couldn't do it. But I found a way. Yeah. And then I was very committed. Very committed. I'm about to pay. Is it worth it? Yeah. For you, it's worth it. If you know that this makes sense to you, then it's worth it. And you probably already signed up. I'm an agency accelerator already. Should I take out a loan for monetize? No, don't take out a loan for monetize. Work agency accelerator. Now, this is the bonus that you get if you sign up here today. You already have it. So just work that, right? And then use that. And when we open this up again in the future, although it will likely be at a higher price and not have quite the perks that it has here, sign up for it. Because if it's twice as much, it's still worth it. If I was selling this to you for $3,000 instead of $1,495, I would be just as eager to sell it to you at that investment level, because it's worth so much more than that. Okay, it is worth so much more than that. I have a saying, it's pretty famous. People don't attribute to me as much as they should. I don't set my prices by your pocketbook, right? I don't set my prices by your bank account. I don't set my prices by your wallet, right? I set my prices based upon what I know the best people in the market will have the biggest advantage with. So we create the most value and then we get the price down. But I would never limit my price simply because some people can't afford it. I limit my price to what is responsible for me to fulfill on the best possible version of this digital product that's out there. And eventually one day you can do the same. But I'm playing black belt level here. I want you to start at the white belt level. And I want you to start simpler than that, because that's a complicated, that's a high level expert required status setup in order to be successful with, right? I want you to start like I started. 6 pages and $4. That was my first product, my first digital product. 6 pages and $4 changed my life. Completely changed my life. You know what changed my life the most? You know what changed my life the most about it? It's because I said I could do that again. I don't have to get better. I don't have to do more. I just have to repeat the process. I could do that again. And then I did it again. And then I did it again. And for 11 months, that's all I did. Just that. And I made my first 6 figures. I went from making $25,000 a year to making $100,000 a year. And then after a year, I got bored of doing it over and over again. So I said, okay, now what can I do that I couldn't do before? And I leveled up. Not a lot, a little bit. Lan says from 37K viewers to 5.6K viewers, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. 2 hours and 39 or 31 minutes. By the way, we're at 4,900 viewers right now. So what happened between 37K viewers and 4,900 viewers? Let me run it back even further, Lan. What happened between day 1 with 54K viewers to day 4 with 4,978 viewers? What happened then? The same thing that always happens in life is everybody's excited on minute 1, and then the weather gets a little hot and some people go indoors and quit. And then some people are excited through day 2, and then the rain comes down and they say, oh man, I don't want to get wet. And then they quit. And then day 3 comes along and somebody tripped and falled and stubbed their toe and they say, that's it. I got a little bit hurt. I'm out. And then they quit. And then day 4 comes along and people say, you know what? I guess I don't really want to change that much. And then they quit. And it just happens. It's called the law of large numbers. That's going to happen. With large numbers, many people are going to quit. It's just the way it is. I no longer allow it to break my heart. It used to break my heart because I used to try to save everybody. And then I realized that's ridiculous. But here's the other side of the law of large numbers. Within large numbers, there's smaller numbers of people that are capable of doing amazing things. And that means that if I have to reach 100 to find one of you that's going to completely change your world, I will take 99 no's to get that one yes. I will take 99 rejections to get that one acceptance. I will work through 54,000 people to find the 4,000 people left that we can go and do amazing things with. And boy, this is an attitude that can serve you well if you try it on, right? We focus not on the things that stop us and limit us. We don't focus on the things that are out of control. We focus on what we can control and what can empower us. And what you focus on tends to expand. So you focus on the way it doesn't work, and you find more and more creative ways on why it won't work. You focus on the ways that it could work, and all of a sudden you find all of the ways that it could work. By the way, this works very well for digital products as well. And Iman masterfully talked about this. He said, usually your first digital product idea is not very good. But after your 20th or 30th idea, that's when you really start cooking. And the AI helps you with that. It spits out a whole bunch of product ideas, and then you can sift and sort and you can pick. So usually the first couple ones are not very good. So you work through the ideation process until you get to the good ones. The good ones are usually found a couple levels down. And the same thing is true with people. The good ones are found usually the few within the many. And if you're left with me right now, that's a clue. That's a clue. The hot weather didn't chase you off. The rain didn't stop you. Stubbing your toe didn't stop you, right? The distance didn't stop you. Those are all very interesting, empowering equations because you've shown the ability to show up. You've shown the ability to stay focused. And if you could put this same focus into this program at joiniman.com, the same amount of hours that you showed up here today, you put that same focus in the program, oh my God, what could possibly happen if that were to occur? Oh my God. I can only imagine some of the things that will change in your life as a result of that. Okay. And somebody says, emergency question here. Ooh, an emergency question. What would you recommend if the monetized offer came at the wrong time, but I have the money to buy it? I would recommend you buy it. I mean, it's a hypothetical question, right? It's like asking, hey, listen, I got a crystal ball, and in the future, I know Bitcoin's going to be 100K, and right now Bitcoin sells for 1K. Should I buy it, even though right now it's the wrong time for me to invest? No, you should buy it because it's not the wrong time. Now, Bitcoin is not that predictable, but the digital product thing is pretty predictable. Right now, it's not as easy as buying Bitcoin, but, it's not as, you don't have any control over the price, really. You do have control over the digital products. It is the right time. So it's silly to engage in the hypothetical, but even if it was quote unquote the wrong time, I would still suggest you do it because I built a digital product business during the wrong times for several years. And it was still worth doing. Yep. If you need to schedule a call, go to joinemon.com and they have a scheduler on there. Certainly be happy to assist you. Yep. Benson says, hey, man, we don't have the money. What should we do? First, we have to check that. We have to say, is that true? Because I've done this a lot. And some people say, I don't have the money, and they actually do. What they're saying is, I'm not sure I should invest this amount of money considering my financial situation. So I find for a certain percentage of people, a smaller percentage than you would actually, you'd be surprised at how small a percentage this actually is. They actually don't have the money. Like literally, physically, it would be completely irresponsible for them. So, the people that are like, I lost my job and I don't know if I'm going to pay the bills at the end of the month, they don't have the money, right? Or they live in a certain country where it's really hard to make more than a couple $100 a month. Yeah. That I get. But for a lot of people who are concerned about the money, it's a concern. It's not an actual limitation. It's, should I invest in this with the funds that I have right now? And so that's the larger equation of those who should invest or not, especially because we have the best financing options available. So WAP has the capacity to do financing that none of these other marketplaces do. It is such a leverage point. So you should be happy, A, because you can utilize financing yourself if you qualify. And B, you should be happy because the products you sell on WAP unlock for you the huge advantage of financing. You want to know something that'll blow your mind? I've sold over $57 million on a launch with zero financing. We didn't have any third-party financing options. Isn't that insane? You want to know something more insane with that? Over the $250 million of success I've had in 18 years, not one time was it financed. I have never sold with financing before in my entire life. This is the first time in history. Now, somebody earlier this year, you would know who he is. He's incredibly famous. We are not going to name him here. He texted me and he goes, hey, listen, you know a lot about this stuff. What is your feeling on financing? And I said, I don't know. I've never done it. Because he said, I'm exploring these options. So I said, let me get back to you. So I have about 60 high-end coaching clients, people that pay me large sums of money to do group coaching and group training with them. So I asked the group, I said, who here uses financing? And almost all of them did. And then every single one of them says, I have increased my conversion significantly in my product sales because of third-party financing. And I thought, little Jason Fladlin, who started in 2007 when there was no such thing as financing, never ever thought to reconsider it. It was a blind spot in my own business. And so you have the ability to leverage that with WAP as a distributor of digital products on WAP. And you also have the advantage to take advantage of this as a buyer of Monetize when you go to joinemon.com, right? Yeah, getting a loan is a bad idea. I'm just going to tell you right now. Either if you can finance it, finance it. If you don't qualify for financing, do not get a loan for this. All right. Instead, take the free information and run with it. It's the second best thing. The best thing is investing in this. The second best thing is taking the free information and running with it, which is why we designed this and which is why we do these programs. It is a very democratized way of communication because you want to know what I had to do in the past to make money. I always had to buy information because there was no way to distribute information like there is today. So we had to pay for everything back then. Crazy, huh? Now you don't. Now you get 5 full days of upgraded thinking with $0 involved. And then, of course, if it makes sense, you should invest. I'm going through okay, thank you. I like this one. He says, Tejas, I think is how you say it. Monetize. I am going through checkout. Keep the stream going. I will. So we're going to wrap up soon. It's 11:41 here. Before we wrap up, I will check in with you to make sure whoever's checking out completes their checkout process. Because if I end the stream and you're mid-checkout, you do not get the bonus today, the agency accelerator bonus. You don't get that, right? So I want to make sure you get that. So when we wrap, we'll check in with you. But for now, you're good. Awesome. Is there a way to pay installments from Monetize? There is not a way right now. All the options that are available when you go to joineman.com. And then you can go through them. It is a fair question. I hadn't even considered that as far as installments go. But hit the financing up if that makes sense to you. And then get started that way. What a nice young gentleman. Thank you. I like the young. What a nice young gentleman you are, Jason. I appreciate that, right? Now, I mean, a lot of people that do this, that try to enroll you in programs, they're very aggressive and they're over the top and they're flamboyant and oh my God. So I try to be firm and kind. Am I doing a good job, right? I try to be sincere, but I also want what's best for you. So if I feel like you're settling for something that's not best for you, I don't want you to settle either. So this is a fine line that I walk. So I appreciate the recognition for that. I'm also jet lagged off my tits. So I'm like, you can probably see it on my face. I'm pretty tired, but I'm willing to hang in here with you. And I appreciate that acknowledgement, right? How long is the offer for? In total, we can guarantee the offer until tomorrow, end of day, Pacific time, I believe. After that, I'm not sure if it's available. I'm not sure exactly when they're taking it offline, if it's tomorrow night or the day after that. I know it's not any longer than that. However, the special bonus, of course, does expire today for Agency Accelerator if you don't sign up before the end of this stream here. So just keep that in mind, joineman.com. Can you please say something that I can use to convince my parents to buy? Oh, I saw this question earlier, right? Convince the old parents. Okay, I'm going to give you an answer, and then I'm going to give you another answer, okay? The first answer I'm not quite serious with, but it can work, and you may want to consider it, right? And then I'm going to give you the answer that I would suggest to you to use instead. But you can decide which one you want to use. So if you wanted to convince your parents, the first thing you do to them is you go up to them, find out when they're in a good mood, by the way. Find out when it makes sense to approach them. You may even do something for them in advance first to make them feel really good. Oh, my son or my daughter did this thing for me. I appreciate that, right? And then you approach to them and then you say, Dad and Mom, you want me to, and then insert blank here, something positive about your future that you know is of high value to them. Hey, Mom and Dad, you really want me to find things that really make me passionate to express myself, don't you? If that's the value that you know your parents have. Or you might say, hey, Mom and Dad, you would love it if I was really investing my time and effort into things that would be good for me in my future finances. Wouldn't you? And then you ask them a couple more questions. And if I could sit down with you and I could prove to you that there was a way that I could do that you could feel comfortable with and that I'm super excited about, would you at least entertain this with an open mind as I go through it? So the idea is to get them in that positive state to see what the end result of this thing could do and then explain it to them, the program. You could do it that way, right? Now, me personally, I would not necessarily even try to convince people. If you have to convince somebody of something, it's generally a losing equation. I don't try to actually convince anyone of anything. I help you convince yourself. That's not just semantics. That's an actual attitudinal thing. I try to present you with evidence. So here's another option for you, for your parents. You can say to them, listen, I want to invest in this program that I think is going to help me in my future. It's with AI. It's with an opportunity for me to start my own business. And it's a lot of money. It's $1,495, and I don't have it right now. I would like to set up a contract with you on ways in which I can earn this over time. So you can finance it for me today. And then over time, I will commit to paying you back. So that way, no matter what, I will do things that will help develop me as a human being so you can be proud of me. And if the worst thing that happens is you get free work from me, or you get a work that more than covers the $1,495. This is what I do with my kids, by the way. So we were living in France for 3 months earlier this year. So you should be so lucky to have a parent like me. Don't tell my kids that either. We're flying back from France to Iowa. Murderous flight, by the way. So we start in Nice because I'm in Cannes. So we go to Nice, small airport. From Nice, we connect to Zurich. From Zurich, we go to Chicago. And then from Chicago, we go to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Don't recommend it. All right. So I fly business class because I'm a businessman. Business class tickets are about two-way, about $5,000 for this flight. I sit down with the kids and I tell them, listen, I'm going to fly business class. You are welcome to join me in business class. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to read 5 business books, and then I'll test you on them. And if you pass the test, then I will buy you a business class ticket. That's how you earn it. Because I've never had anybody buy me a business class ticket. I've earned every one, and I would like for you to earn it as well. And I go, if that's too much for you, I have an alternative one because I'm reasonable. You can find 5 areas of personal development in your life, and you can write 5 essays and research papers on those topics. And once there's something that we both agree are of high value, then I will buy you a business class ticket. Or you can fly economy. Your choice. And so now they are making the decision on whether they want to have a path where they can earn the thing they want, or they can accept that they can get a normal ticket, which still, by the way, is a good deal, right? So this is my attitude towards my children, and it should be every parent's attitude towards their children, quite frankly. Parents are there to help us become our own individual self and support us in that endeavor. Not all of them do. My parents certainly didn't, right? My mom was a drug addict who went to prison for 6 years. I'll tell you more about that story tomorrow. And my dad was completely opposed to me ever starting a business entirely in my whole entire life, right? So sometimes parents won't support you. It's sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's one of the ways the world works, right? So in your situation, though, you should sit down with your parents and work a plan. Mom and Dad, I want this. You want this from me. How can we both make this happen? And if they're reasonable people, they will come up with a plan and they will collaborate with you. If they are unreasonable people, then it's unfortunate, but that's okay. You can still love them, but you have to accept their limitations. And that's true with everything in life, right? By the way, you ever hear anybody sell like this before? This is how Fladland does it, right? This is not selling so much as this is helping you work through the challenges you have so you can then make a decision that makes the most sense for you. But so often in the human experience, we get so tangled up in these fucking conflicting emotions that we don't know our head from our ass. And so this is how I help you make what of what, so you can understand what decision is that makes the best for you. Joiniman.com. If the decision is yes right now, get that extra special bonus. We got 4,346 people on. I don't know if we got them all on. I bet some of them just left the page up and then they're off doing something else, right? But let me see. Let me check the questions, by the way, right? By the way, this is who's waiting for me, right? So I have my wife waiting back at the hotel for me, and I want to see her. I've been missing her all day. I've been missing her all week as I've been working here, right? I live a very, very charmed, beautiful life with very beautiful people. And it didn't always start out that way, but that's the way that it is right now. But I'm choosing to spend my time with you instead of with my wife right now, which is a very tough decision for me to do. Because I know you and I have a limited opportunity of engagement here today. So I'm willing to put the extra time in for you. But there is certainly a limitation to that. And part of the reason I'm hanging in there extra today is because there's stakes on the line, because the bonus goes away with it, right? Yeah. So Sorry, I'm looking at the chat now. I'm wondering if it's slowing down at all. It's not really slowing down. There's still so many people. I appreciate the engagement, right? All right. It's not letting me check out. So try a different browser. Try a different browser. See if that works. If that doesn't work, wait for support to contact you if you were in halfway through checkout, or be proactive and reach out to support at educate.io. Okay. Okay. Somebody just said, keep the stream going. I'm about to check out. It's hard for me to read the chat over here. How do you finance this? Go to the checkout process at joiningmon.com, select the financing option. It will be different for you depending on your location, and then proceed with that one. Proceed with the options you have available to you. So all the ways in which you can invest with us will be at joiningmon.com on that checkout page. Okay. I wonder, okay, I'm curious. All right, cool. I joined on my first day. Do I have to do anything different to get these bonuses? No. If you've already joined, you get all the bonuses that we have provided to you. Yeah. Appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Dang, I wish I knew a way to stop this thing from moving the rate it's moving at. Fascinating. You know what's really cool is I never do public chat when I do these presentations. This is the first time in a very long time where I do a public chat. Because I find them very distracting because you're all looking at each other, and sometimes there's this group mentality. I saw it earlier. Some of y'all typing L's in the chat, right? Thinking you're funny. And you are kind of funny. I'm sitting down there laughing with the guys. I told them the other day, I said, I'm going to reframe the L. So I'm going to say, you know, if you're ready to leave your limiting beliefs behind, type L in the chat. Please don't do that right now because it will flood my chat. So I generally keep a clean private chat, but when you have this many people, you can't. And then we specifically select pull out questions, and we were able to answer them privately as well as address the biggest one publicly. You fuckers, you put the L in the chat. L means you just lost your limiting beliefs, and now that means that you must go to joinemon.com to get started. All right. But no, I saw somebody was checking out in the process, so I certainly won't shut down right now until you are done checking out. If you got the workbook, password is deliver. I believe it's all caps. If it's not, try all lowercase. Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right, I got a couple questions. I learned so much wisdom from you during these 4 days. Thank you. I appreciate that, Chris. When is the deadline? I don't have a deadline for you yet. That one is out of my hands. It's out of my control. I know for a fact it will be open still tomorrow because I'm going to do my presentation, and my final day on camera will be tomorrow. I'm going to do a full presentation for you tomorrow. A formal, structured, specific, step-by-step presentation with fancy slides and all that cool stuff. And, you know, hang out with you again tomorrow. But that's my last day. And I know the offer will still be available tomorrow. I do not know if it will be available after that. I do know for a fact it will not be available 2 days or 3 days after that, I should say. I'm a little messed up on my time zone. So for me, it's like tomorrow. For you, it's yesterday. So you can certainly join tomorrow, but you will not get the agency bonus. If you join tomorrow, you will not get the agency accelerator bonus. That is a limited bonus for today only, because it would be insane to continue to give that thing away. It's already insane to give it away for the time that we've given it away in, right? We're 3 hours in on this call. We're actually 4 hours in on this call. Iman and I did a VIP session. VIPs, if you're still here, type VIP into the chat. I'm curious if VIPs are still rocking and rolling here. So my VIPs, we did an hour session today. And today we're like, we don't want you to ask any questions about signing up, about buying. People got mad at us. We're like, we're only going to answer questions related to digital products. Pure 100% training call we did with VIPs before our call today. Here's the thing, and this is what I joke, because I run a high-end mastermind, and I have a business partner there. His name is Qasim, and he's always asking for feedback. And I said, Qasim, the problem with feedback is half the audience will say the room's too cold, and the other half will say it's too hot. how are you going to satisfy both halves, right? So some people, no matter what, today they were like, I want to answer questions because I want to join Monetize. And we said, nope. The other day we were asking questions. I was like, why are you talking about Monetize, right? So one of the things that you can do to really empower yourself in this life is to take things other people say from that perspective, knowing that you can be sincere, you can do what's best, and still sometimes it's not always going to land for everybody, which is why you shouldn't allow yourself to make your decisions based on other people's feelings if it's unreasonable. And that includes your own, right? So you should be able to look at this from the perspective of, I can be scared and I can make progress. I can hold two conflicting emotions in my body at the same time and still make progress forward. And that stops a lot of people. It holds them up from moving forward. So just think about that. Because, man, people let little things cheat them out of big opportunities all the time. And it really does upset me. It makes me sad because you can't help the person who doesn't help themselves. But, boy, you can do a lot with the person who's willing to do at least a little for themselves. Joinhimon.com if that makes sense to you. Okay. We got here. My parents agreed to buy this, but they are unsure if this is a trustworthy program. How can I deal with this? You can say you don't have to trust them. Just trust me. And then, if it happens that it doesn't work out for me, it will be a good life lesson for me. By the way, that's true for all of you. How you discipline your disappointments will have a large impact on how far you go in life. Let me run that back again. Write that one down. How you discipline your disappointments will allow you to go very far in life. And let me tell you a little secret. You probably are going to be surprised when I tell you this, right? You will have disappointments as you go through Monetize. The one thing that you thought will be easy to do won't be do. One day, fucking Europe's internet will go out, and you won't be able to access the program. That happened to us the other day. Our biggest day for this launch was day 2. That was the day when we were offering it for the first time, opening the doors, enrolling a whole bunch of people in, and the internet goes out in Europe. And we lost 5,000 people that some of you, we've paid money to advertise to make you aware of this event. But we disciplined our disappointments because we know in this life, the only certainty is uncertainty. And so you have to discipline your disappointments. And so this helps you communicate this to your parents. You could say, yeah, it might happen where I might not be able to do this thing, or hey, it might not be a trustworthy program, Mom and Dad, which it totally is, by the way, but they don't know that, right? But do you trust me? And by the way, if it isn't a trustworthy program, what are our options? That's also a very good question to ask. Here's what I hope you get from me. And I hope you get it tomorrow in our session tomorrow. Analyze my attitude. Do I ever let something stop me or get in the way from what I want? You give me a question. And do you always see how I look forward to a solution outcome, right? There are 2 frames in which you can encounter life with. There's the problem frame, and then there's the solution frame. So the problem frame says, I don't have enough time to do this. The solution frame says, what should I drop so I can make space and time to do this? The problem frame says, I don't have enough money to get started. The solution frame says, how can I help somebody who does have money finance my success to get started? The problem frame says, I tried this thing and it didn't work. The solution frame says, what do I now know that I didn't know before that I can reinvest in and try in a different way? And so I'm modeling for you what solution frames look like. By the way, the best one is just to agree. You say, yeah, it might not work. And ... Here's how we can move forward in a way that's safe and empowering together. Okay? By the way, do you think if you hang around people like Iman and me long enough, that some of what we do attitudinally might rub off on you? This is why you are the composite of the people that you spend the most time with. Okay? If you want to get fit, you hang around fit people. If you want to get rich, you hang around rich people. If you want to stay broke, you hang around broken people. Okay. Now, you can't afford to hang out with us professionally in a very, very intimate environment, like one-on-one like this, right? Where we're chilling and I'm giving you personal advice. You have to be super successful to get that. But this is pretty close, isn't it? Like hanging out on the inside, having more exposure to these ideals over a period of time, and then you pick up on them and you model them. That's a big part of success. So it's not just the deliverables that are on the page at joinemon.com. It's not just that, right? It's also the people that lead these programs. And that is just as transformative as the materials inside of joinemon.com in the monetized program. Okay? The scheduled call option doesn't have any time slots available, even in the year 2026. Okay? We'll see about if we can open those up, right? And if you can't, then write to support@educate.io. See how that's a solution frame? See how we keep moving forward, right? Until we can investigate that and move that forward, you can still write at support@educate.io and get some help that way. Joinemon.com. I'm going to wrap up right now unless we have people in the process of checking out or who are about to start checking out. So if you are in the process of checking out, stop for a second and put back in the chat checking out. Or if you're just getting ready to check out because you know you're going to sign up now, put in the chat check out. And I will wait for you so you can complete your checking out. And then we will wrap. Okay, cool. So we got a couple checkouts here. I saw a Hod checking out and I saw Anthony checking out, M's checking out. Okay, we got some people checking out. So while they're checking out, I will stay on and I will answer another question or two. And then we'll start to wrap here. Okay. I love hanging out with you guys too. I really do. I really, really do. I really appreciate you. Okay. What is the difference between monetize and designer? Monetize is created specifically to help you with digital products, especially in the context of successfully selling them in the WAP marketplace. And they're trained on Iman's proprietary data set, which is not available anywhere else. And so I don't think there's anything in this context that can measure up against that, which, by the way, let me rant for a second. Can I rant? Okay, let me rant for a little bit. There is some noise out there, right, from some people that are like, oh, this synthesized thing or this ghostwriter thing, oh, that's just ChatGPT with a different dress on, right? God, people come up with the stupidest things to talk about, right? So we put this information in here today where we talked about disinformation and misinformation. So misinformation is sometimes people don't realize because they think, oh, well, yeah, it hooks into OpenAI, and so therefore it's just ChatGPT. You could do the same thing with ChatGPT. They are naive in their understanding of the world, so we don't fault them for that, even though they're completely wrong, right? But then there's disinformation. There are people that will willingly know that if they can sow seeds of doubt in your mind, they can hijack your attention, and then they can get you to do what they want. But the only way they can get you to do what they want is by interfering with what we're doing, because we are the ones that have the attention. They can't get attention. So therefore, through nefarious means, they fucking steal attention. So you have to be very, very skeptical of people who trade on other people's names. Inherently, that's already a very bad sign. But put that to a side for a second, right? The software inside of this program called Monetize is trained in a specific way with a proprietary set of data that is not available to the general AI public, and it's put in a certain set of structures in containers that no other AI, ChatGPT or any other one out there, can put the output on. I will do you one better. Do me a favor. Sign up at joinemon.com. Put it to the test. Prove it to yourself. Run Synthesize. Run Ghostwriter OS. Then go and run ChatGPT. Then go and run DeepSeek. Then go and run Claude. Then go and run whatever, right? and you compare them. And if you have to squint to tell the difference, then get a refund. Okay? But when you show yourself how drastic it is, you will learn two very valuable lessons that day, my friend. The first lesson that you'll learn that day is that you have a tool that cooks. You have what we call an unfair advantage. My favorite thing to do with my clients is to give them an unfair advantage because I want my clients to win. And so one of the ways to win is to give them something that makes them have an unfair advantage. But the second thing you will learn that day, I will argue, is even more valuable and even more important. You will learn that the people that trade in attention in that way are the ones that typically keep you small and limited for their own gain. And once you can see that in action, you can become immune to it. And once you become immune to it, you unlock a superpower inside of you that will allow you to really level up what you can do in this world. And that's also a very valuable lesson to have. But trust and verify. Don't just trust. Trust me enough to get signed up and then verify it through your own experience. And then if it nets, it nets. And if it doesn't, you have the refund in place to protect you. This is why we put this in there, right? This is why we put this in there. What blows my mind is people are telling you things about the software that they have never used themselves, never touched it, never played with it, never created with it, yet they know better. Question their motives and question my motives. And I've told you my motives. I'm very clear with it, right? But question your own motives too. What do you want? What do you really want? And can this help get you there? Is this better having it than not having it? End of rant. Joinimon.com, right? All right, I'm going to check to see if there's any pressing questions here. Do me a favor, okay? If you are in the process of checking out right now, or if you're about to check out, let me know. We're down to 3,800 souls on this call, which is an incredible amount of people, by the way. We can really fill this out. So put check out if you're in the process of checking out, or if you're getting ready to start checking out. And if they're not, then I'll answer a question or two and then we'll wrap up. But if you are, then maybe I'll answer 3 or 4 questions. Okay. I can't change the payment method, unfortunately, right? We are in this world where we do the best we can to accommodate as many people as we possibly can. But what are the options are the options, and they're at joinimon.com. Okay. So I saw at least 3 people checking out, 4 people checking out. All right, cool. I'll answer a couple more questions. I appreciate you too. Do you know what hour this offer will be available? Right now, the offer is available. I'm going to wrap here as soon as people are done checking out. And I'll check again here in a few minutes when we're done with the people that are currently checking out, because I know it'll take a couple minutes when there's 6 or 7 more people checking out here. So I'll be here for a few more minutes, and then the bonus will expire when we end stream here today. This special bonus, the Agency Accelerator bonus, the offer will still be available minus the bonus tomorrow. I can't guarantee it will be available after that. That's out of my hands. Joinimon.com is where you go to sign up. All right. Where's the finance option? When you go through the checkout process, you'll see the option for financing. You've joined. Shadriq, what's up? Glad to see you in there. What tools did I use when I got started? Pull up a chair. Grandpa Flavin is going to tell you a tale, right? So I used a tool called LibreOffice. I don't know if that's what it was called then, or if it rebranded to that, and it later became something else. I think it was OpenOffice initially, and then it was rebranded to LibreOffice. OpenOffice was the free alternative to Microsoft Word. Back then, youngin', it was hard to export something as a PDF. Google Docs did not exist yet. So it was a miracle. Normally, you had to pay money just to save something as a PDF. OpenOffice was a free version that allowed you to save as a PDF. It looked like dog shit, but sometimes beggars can't be choosers. So the PDF I created with it was terrible. Now I use PayPal in order to check out. Now I got a little bit lucky there, because in 2004, back when some of you were 4 years old, right? One of the guys in the crew downstairs that we're working with here on Team Iman, I think he was born in 2000. So in 2004, when I opened my PayPal account, he was 4 years old. He was probably going to kindergarten at the time, right? So I set up PayPal because I was selling CDs in music online. I was selling digital music online. I was a rapper. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So I had a PayPal account. That took weeks for me to initially set up back in 2004. And then when the music career failed, I pivoted into a digital product business. So I connected my PayPal account as a checkout process. So you would get this button. And then the button, you would put it on your webpage. Now, I used a software called Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver was an HTML builder. It was incredibly complicated to learn. So I went to the library and I checked a book out on how to use Dreamweaver because YouTube was not a thing back then. It didn't really exist. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't there. And so I figured out how to use Dreamweaver to build a web page. And then I put the PayPal button inside of there. I saved my LibreOffice document as a PDF. And then on the thank you page, I built 2 web pages. I say, when person checks out on PayPal, send them to this web page. And then on the thank you page, I put my download. I said, congratulations, your purchase went through. Download the product here. Now, here's what's crazy about this. It was just a web page. Anybody with the URL could go to that page and get the product for free. I didn't know how to protect the product. I didn't know how to connect it to a payment situation. I didn't know how to put it in a membership site. It was very difficult to process payments in PayPal. I had to build these web pages that were terrible, and I had to learn all sorts of programs and stuff to use it. And that's how I made my first sell on my first product. And I wrote it all by hand too. No AI, right? And those were all the tools that I used. And by the way, that was to sell a product to an audience that is 1% of the size of the market today. So I had to work 100 times harder for 1/100th of the total addressable market, to use a business jargony term, right? And I did it because you know what the alternative was? Painting houses for $12 an hour for an asshole. My boss was a psychopathic, narcissistic, megalomaniac asshole. By the way, he taught me a lot. He taught me what not to do in business. He taught me how not to treat people. So that was a valuable experience, and I honor him for that. But that's how I started. And it was very hard. It was worth it, though. So it's only gotten better. It's easier today. So the counter argument to that, well, if it's easier, that means more people are doing it. Therefore, it's more crowded. So therefore, it's actually not easier. And that's just not true. Mathematically, that's not true. Because while there are more people doing it, there are more people buying the things than ever before at a rate higher than the people doing it. So it's simultaneously easier, and there's more demand for it. It's a double-double, right? Sid Earth asked this question. Jason, can you help me answer the question of mine? Should I get this without knowing I would do it, or should I test myself before financing this interest of mine getting into the field? I will tell you it's a good idea to do it. Sign up not knowing how or what or where you will do it. The decision creates the consciousness to get it done. People got it backwards. They want to create the consciousness that makes the decision happen, right? I always look at it this way. A lot of people say, when I have money, then I'll become charitable. But charitable is a character trait. It is not the result of having money. Charitable people are always charitable, whether they have a lot of money to give or none. Even if they have none to give, they're charitable with their time. So it's a character trait. So I would suggest not having to know how it will get done is a positive character trait of a successful person. We did not know we were going to have this bonus today called Agency Accelerator. We did not know exactly how to fulfill it, right? We had an argument last night after our session. It was pretty fun because somebody on the team was like, well, we already built Agency Accelerator over here, and we have all this gamification in place, and it does this, and it does that, and it does that. And then the counter argument was, so we can put it over here, and we can put this bonus package in. And we had a discourse and a discussion to see if this made sense or not. We didn't know how it would be done. We didn't know if it would be done, but we figured it out. So the consciousness is I will move myself into situations that can favor my advancement, even if I'm unclear exactly and specifically how or what that looks like. That's a good decision. That's a decision. That's a character trait of somebody that successful people also have that character trait with. Now, it's correlative. It's not causal. It doesn't guarantee success. I want to be very clear with you. But I take correlative all day long. Hey, if I do these things and other people who do these things, it correlates to success. Let me try it out. Let me see what happens. If nothing else, I'll learn something new about myself. And that process starts at joinimon.com. If you want to join us, we can do that. Now, I am starting to fade. It's 3 hours, 15 minutes into this rodeo. I'm getting really tired. This is day 4. Yeah, we going. So let me know if you're in the process of checking out. If I don't see anybody's checking out here, I'm going to wrap now. If you are in the process of checking out, let me know. Then I'll wait for you, and then we'll finish off. If you want to know everything you get, just go to joinimon.com. I don't believe the bonus is on that page. So just know that even though Agency Accelerator is not on that page, you will get that. Okay, cool. We got Sam's checking out. Barbara's checking out. Christy's checking out. Awesome. Yeah. You know what? This is really fun for me. I just want to take a second to acknowledge this. I generally communicate to an older demographic. That's a polite way of saying old people. Those are generally the folks that I work with. So it's really cool to see the different questions that I'm getting here today, new questions that I haven't gotten before. I find that fascinating. Because I've never dealt with my parents, how do I make my parents understand objection before? That was my first time. Did I do a good job, by the way? Once you have a template for solving problems, it's amazing how you can copy and paste that into a variety of different situations. So I've never got the parent objection before. That was the first one for me. I like that. Yeah. Did the rap career fail or did you quit? The rap career failed. It failed miserably. Being a Hare Krishna monk rapper from Muscatine, Iowa, who would have thought that would have failed, right? But you know what happened in that business? In attempt to succeed, I say, why ain't I selling records? And then I discovered there was this thing called marketing. And I said, maybe I should start marketing. So I learned how to market to try to, sell records for my rap career. And then I thought, damn, I like marketing just as much as I like rapping. Let me just do pure marketing, remove the music, and let me see what happens. So if it wasn't for the music, I never would have got into marketing. And if it wasn't for the marketing, I never would have been the successful person that I am here today. And if I wasn't here today, then I wouldn't be able to connect with you. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Are debit cards accepted? Go ahead and try. They should be. So go ahead and find out. joinimon.com. I will not tell you guys what my rap name was. Let me put that as behind us, right? It's out there. It is on the internet. If you can find it, then you've earned the right to listen to it. But I am not going to make it easy for you. Mary says, is it worth it? Please tell me. I think if you're here right now, Mary, and you've been with us through this journey, for you, I do believe it is worth it. And I would highly recommend you go to joinimon.com. And get signed up. Little drop, right? Back when I was rapping, there was Lil Wayne. And I think that was it. Lil Bow Wow. I think it was Lil Bow Wow back then. Storm's checking out. Okay, cool. Webinar. Yeah, Webinar Go. That's what I'm called. Cool. Right? Make us rap. I don't rap anymore, right? You have to pay me a lot more money than $14.95 in order to get me to rap. You got to pay me Iman style, buddy. And even then, I haven't rapped for those guys yet. Some liar. He thinks I'm lying. Why would I lie about that? Damn, son. Who hurt you? Password for the program, the workbook. Deliver. Deliver is how you get there. Oh, thank you, everybody that put that in there in the chat, right? Now that it's down to manageable numbers, 3,400, it's actually, I could kind of read the chat. Yeah. Oh my God, somebody, oh my God. We got some W's in the chat. Yeah. Okay, check it out. Kior's check it out. Awesome. Yeah. What's the agency bonus? The agency bonus is Agency Accelerator. Agency Accelerator is, I might be able to put it on the screen here. I mean, you won't see it, but I can at least read it again. I can do a little pitch on you for it. Some of the details. 423 slides today, by the way. That's dedication. God, shout out to the guys. Like, we work down there like in a little powwow. It's really cool. We're bouncing off of each other, helping each other out, supporting each other. I hope you have that experience. Find a group of people that you can work with where everybody supports and helps everybody else. Agency Accelerator is essentially this. Okay, cool. I found it, right? I'm not going to read the pitch word for word. But essentially it goes like this. Sometimes you can sell somebody else's thing as a digital product. It doesn't have to be yours. When I did a $57 million launch, it was not my product. I was not an expert at it. I didn't know anything about it on day one. And by day 226, we had sold $57.9 million of that product. So we packaged it, and in this case, we supported distribution, but we shared distribution with the person whose expertise we packaged into a digital product. And so with Agency Accelerator, essentially you become the agent to unlocking the value of somebody else's expertise in the form of a digital product. And you can start with picking people whose expertise also includes their own audiences that they have reached towards. So that's what Agency Accelerator does. That's what's really powerful about it. And I'm looking at it right now. It is massive, terabytes, massive. Okay. It was recorded in a cinema grade red camera. I don't even know what that is. I have no idea what a cinema grade red camera is. It sounds really cool though. It sounds to me like it is like motion picture level quality. Okay. And it's going to be inside a WAP as part of Monetize for You. Okay. And this is something that I know has sold for, I believe, around $1,000, 1G. And I know that they've sold it in the past, right? So that is the Agency Accelerator. I'm looking at some of the people here. LN17 made $70K profit with it per month. High school kids successfully starting their business, scaling to $10K. I doubt he's here right now. But I'm going to give a shout out to my boy. So I met this guy earlier this year because I started social media. I was never on social media for the last 10 years of my career. I quit. I was like, fuck this. I like to be anonymous, right? So I quit, and then I started earlier this year because I got tired of people stealing my shit and using it because I'm the most ripped off guy in this business. Chances are you follow somebody who I've influenced who now use my stuff and pretend that it's theirs. So I said, you know what? If I'm helping people through other people, I should just show up and help them myself. All right. So Josh Gavin, shout out to him. Josh is crushing it right now. He's a fan of Iman and he's a fan of mine. And he found out about me earlier this year through social, got me on his podcast. We become fast friends, right? And so he sent me a message when he saw me pop up on day one. And this is what he said. And it was really interesting. He said to me, because I'm trying to find it. He said, Here's what he said. He said, he was my first info offer that I bought, referring to Iman. So Josh says, Iman was the first info I bought, was his top SMMA student back then. And I was like, because Josh is now working this agency model like a boss. He's crushing it. And so, Iman is out there changing the game in his field with the agencies as I've changed the game in my respective fields. We're both game changers. You put two game changers together and man, you change the whole game. And so that's what Agency Accelerator is. And that bonus does expire when this stream ends here, which it will do here very shortly. All right. Going to check in with you one more time. We ready to wrap? Or is anybody else checking out? If you're in the process of checking out, let me know right now. My last name is Fladlien. It's one of the most unique names in the world. Good luck spelling it. Fladlien. I'll be here tomorrow. I'm doing a whole presentation tomorrow. Looks like we could start wrapping up here. I'm not sure if people. Oh no, we got Storm, you were checking out earlier. You okay? Rayhan's checking out. How old am I? This lifetime right now, I'm 42. Past lifetimes, I was different ages. Okay, MDC Creative Media is checking out. You can make money with digital products without these specials. Okay, I get it. There's really no such thing as FOMO. I know it may feel that way because we're adding extra bonuses. Those are rewards and incentives for people to reward them for the decisions that they make. You don't need any of this stuff to be successful. You don't need this course, this training program, this software. You don't need any of this to be successful. It's really just an equation of, is it better to have these things and exchange money to get them, or is it better to keep the money and try them all on your own? Okay. And by the way, even in the training program itself, don't feel like you have to use every tool in order to get your quote unquote money's worth. I want you to use the least amount of tools possible to satisfy your objective and your goal. That's what I want, right? That's all that I want. I always look at these things as buffets, right? If you ever go to eat at a buffet, do you feel guilty because you didn't sample everything that was out on the buffet table? Did you eat all 26 different dishes that were out and then ate 12 desserts? No. So treat this like a buffet. Take what's appealing and appetizing to you and gleefully skip over what is unnecessary and not required. But show up to the meal and partake in the food to get the substance. In this case, that weird metaphor means join the program here. And then use what is useful to you and discard the rest, right? The next generation of billionaires are going to be from AI more than any other tool. Unfortunately, the next generation of the destitute will be a result of those who got displaced by AI. AI is not all hugs and kisses, rainbows, and unicorn snuggles. AI is a double-edged sword. She's a beautiful goddess and she's a cruel mistress. So if we know that, how do we make her the goddess instead of the cruel mistress? We either utilize this capability of this life-changing technology to empower us, or we let it change our lives in ways that we don't control. Well, since you put it that way, right? It's a big deal. Joinimon.com. Love to see you in there. All right, here's the deal. I am now completely out of energy. I'm exhausted. This whole privacy policy, don't even start that nonsense. You can go there and look at it. So the backbone that is powered with is the same technology that many AIs are powered with. It's like saying, hey, you use the same alphabet as so-and-so who wrote this book. So it's what you're saying is no different than them saying. How you tap into the backbone of AI is drastically different. You know, ChatGPT itself has like 17 public models that you can choose from, and they're tuned to do different things. And then inside of that, you can build your own models with your own structure and proprietary data for your own proprietary processes, right? I mean, I get it if you don't know that. I'm sorry if I'm sounding condescending right now. I'm frustrated and I'm exhausted. And I'm tired of haters out there saying stupid things with the intention to intentionally deceive, right? So we have the same ingredients in the kitchen, but we have better chefs, and we have more tools in the kitchen to make better meals. And again, prove it to yourself. Try it out, and if it ain't significantly better, then you can get your money back. Joinimon.com. Let's end it on a high note. Yes, I come from that sort of spiritual background. That is correct. Yeah. It saved my life. You know, the right information presented to you in the right way can make all the difference in your life. Oh, nice. Storm, you got in. Sweet. I do not watch anime. I used to watch a little bit of Dragon Ball Z back in the day. I tried to get into Naruto, but by then, Dragon Ball Z ruined me because it would take 16 episodes for 5 minutes of Frieza and Goku fighting in runtime. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do because I am beyond exhausted. And, you know, I got a driver waiting for me to take me back to the hotel. And it's AM time. So in LA, it's like 11:30 AM. So I'm going to be able to send a message to my kids during about lunchtime. So I'm going to do that on the way home. So here's what I'm going to do. It is 12:30 right now. I'll give you, here, this is how this is live. You know this is live, right? 12:30 right now. I'm going to give you till 12:45 Dubai time. By the way, Dubai now. There's a new close for you, right? So it's Dubai time. It's time to Dubai, right? So sign up at joiniman.com in the next 15 minutes. 12:45 Dubai time. You have 15 minutes to sign up. I will extend the bonus to all of you for those of you who sign up by then. If you've already signed up, you've got it. I'm training tomorrow. You get me tomorrow, whether you like it or not. How much flatland is too much flatland? Well, we'll find out tomorrow because I'm going to do a full training. I'm the guest speaker for tomorrow doing my presentation. So I'll see you then. Bye for now. Talk soon.